Hello. Hello, babes. How are you today? How are my horties? You all can hear me just fine. That's perfect. That's amazing. That's incredible. How are you today? We have only a couple of people hanging out in the YouTube chat, so I don't got to spend very much time saying hello to you folks. Oh my gosh, more of you are coming out of the woodwork, though. Spacer's Choice, hello. There's Anthony, and we got Leaf, and we got Gremlin Lords, who says, I'm alive. True. What's up, James? How's it going? Yeah, good to see you all today. Good to see you all. Glad to have you here. Heyo Teo, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub before we even started. They said starting out stream with a sub for good luck and vibes. Thank you. We need the good luck. We need the good vibes. I feel like I'm like awake again, which is weird because I carb loaded really heavily earlier and I'm like tired from the carbs, like, but I'm like ready to talk about politics shit again. I've been like super out of it for over a week now, and I'm so stoked to get back to it today. Of course, we're gonna chill for like an hour first. That's how we do on the Luxander stream. Hello, people on the website. There's so many great folks over there. It started with Decoy Duck, who's usually one of the first people in here. What's up, Decoy Duck? Old Man Vox, we got Mama Mephistopheles. Of course, Heyoteo's in here. There's Timarinia. We got Jade of Awesome. Junebug. I still just love the name Junebug. It's such a great, great, great name. And Mersh, hello Mersh. I put some politics in the stream rec channel. Wait, what did you put in the, wait, where's my Discord window? I think I finally figured out the way to do Discord, and that is to always have do not disturb mode on. And I'm debating whether or not having Discord on the phone is a thing that I want. But what did you say in the stream recs channel? Oh, politics. Yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah. All of these things about fucking Montana. I might save that for Sunday, just because this is a lot and I didn't plan for this today, and it's gonna be like, that's gonna be a pretty dedicated segment there. I saw the art that you sent me. It was really interesting, Mersh. I think, is it a moral quandary with the AI art? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but it was definitely cool looking for sure. And what's up, Dark Canuck, over in the YouTube chat as well. Don't ever look at its hands. Yeah, don't look at the hands. Don't look at the teeth. Something else that I realized looking at one of my friends on Twitter shared some AI art, and the thing that stood out to me the most about it, it was, you remember that like couple of days where people were really talking about the AI's big titty hentai girl output, like they're female looking, like they look human, but their skin is weirdly smooth, and there's like the hands and the teeth. And one of the other characteristics that I realized is a lot of them are wearing these bikinis that are usually like the triangular part, the triangular part that covers the titty. It's too small, and it's so much too small that on a big titty that's like this big, there's going to be an areola on the front of that titty that's like a couple inches in diameter, right? On a big old titty, but they have no areolas. That is the craziest shit, isn't it? Like, it's just, not only is their skin like weirdly smooth, but also it's like this like skinny triangle covering their nipple. And it's like, okay, yeah, that would probably, because of its location, it would be covering the central nipple part. Well, there is titty squish. I will say that that's one of the qualities that it does get right, is that there is some nice titty squish. If the thing is cutting into the skin just a little bit, it's just pulled a little bit taut. But the thing is that there's just no areola. It's weird. Yeah, 10 minutes in and we're already talking about big areolas. It's not even really 10 minutes in because I haven't been on screen for that long. I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is married to Matt Walsh. No, I don't think so. I think she's way too old for him. Later, Anthony. No worries. See you later. So, but yeah, man. Oh, I was hungry before stream and I was not sure what to eat, and I decided that the quickest, like easiest thing for me to do, not quickest, but the easiest thing for me to do was going to be to get a box of scalloped potatoes, like a box of scalloped potatoes, and put those in the oven. And I did that, and then I ate most of them, like most of the potatoes, and I you know what? It really didn't occur to me that I was going to potentially have a big old carb crash. So I'm hoping that once I start to actually digest the potatoes a little bit, the energy will come back up and I'll be like a little bit more on it. Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. It's like the evolution. I saw this post recently, which was positing that if you are a teenager, you're really into Legolas. And then as you get a little bit older, you're into Aragorn. And then as you get even older, you realize that Samwise Gamgee is perfectly, like, is the ideal perfect partner. I don't think I'm quite there yet. I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I think I might still be like, okay, but Aragorn, though, you know. I liked Gimli when I was a kid. Wow, I liked Legolas when I was younger. Had a big thing for Orlando Bloom. Hello, Sisukara, welcome in. Oh, that's Rip. Eating an egg and waffle sandwich. Egg sausage and waffle sandwich, but the waffles are mush. Rip. Now I understand Aragorn is bae. Yeah, I think Aragorn, like, is still, I mean, he can sew, he can hunt, you know, he's got like a responsibility, he understands his duty. Although I guess, like, I do kind of get the, you know, the unconditional support that Samwise is going to give you. Like, Sam is going to root for you no matter what. And no matter what anyone says, like, even if you did something wrong, he's still going to be like, nope, my person is correct. Like, he might privately be like, okay, so can you tell me what the fuck happened there? But publicly, he'll be like, you fucking what, mate? Like, that's, so I get the appeal. And he can cook. You know, I would love it. I think I would love it personally if I had a partner who was into cooking for me. Because I love to cook. And then it would be like, we both get to do this lovely thing for each other. I mean, like, switch off sometimes. Where I'm like, I love to make delicious, substantial, nutritious food and then give it as a gift. Not normally a big gift giver, me. Like, I'm not normally a big gift giver, but I like to give gift of good food. Big time. Lux is a Switch confirmed. Is it only just now that we've landed here? What was I before? Aragorn is definitely bi. You know, he and Legolas were fucking on the sly. Well, you know, I'd never really thought about it that way. That's an interesting theory. Oh yeah, in the kitchen. I mean, am I a Switch in the kitchen? If I'm in the kitchen, I really would like you to not be in the kitchen, I think. Well, I don't know. I haven't actually ever done a lot of, like, cooking with other people. Currently, my kitchen is rather small. So I did recently have my sibling over, the youngest one, and we were making challah. And it was not pleasant to me to have two people in my kitchen. It was just not what I wanted. I kept being like, you have to get out of my way. Like, this is claustrophobic. You have to move. I would love to have been born a hobbit. I think it would be nice to be just chilling in the South Farthing. Just like, you know, you got your pipe weed, you got your fireworks, you got your tubers and mash. It's going to be great. Oh, James is countering. Mama Mephistopheles said that Aragorn and Legolas were fucking on the sly, and James in the YouTube chat points out that Legolas was closer to Gimli. So they should have known to stay out of the challah zone. And also previously, I had the older one of my two siblings over. My my two siblings through my dad. I always talk about them like they're my only siblings. I have three. Two of them are halvesies on this side, and one of them is halvesies on this side, and I don't really talk to this one that much, focusing my attention a lot on these ones because they're both in high school and they need their older sibling kind of person to be involved. So, but I had the older one over, and I made him do all kinds of shit. I made him like fry chicken in the cast iron skillet. I made him do all kinds of shit in the kitchen. We made a roast. Man, that weekend, the food was just incredible that weekend. That's just me sucking my own dick, basically, because it's like, that's just me saying, like, I established recipes and made my brother do a bunch of bullshit to make the recipes good, and then, like, it was fantastic because, of course, it was, because I made it. Yeah, but who was Aragorn going outside to meet when Pippin picked up the Palantir? That's a good question. I had not really thought about that. Did Aragorn... Yeah. Was he going outside to meet someone? Ooh. Oh, Jimsy is working on a car, I think, right now. Congrats and good luck. I need to get my oil changed soon in my car. Good grief. Uh-oh, Discord did not send out pings. I did ping, though, right? Like, I did do that. I sometimes forget. But I believe that I did do that. Yes. Yes, I did. Okay, good. Good. I know what it's like to not talk to one of your siblings. I'm in a similar situation. I mean, it's not like my brother and I have like an issue or anything. Well, I mean, not that I know of, at least. I'm like not sure if he removed me as a friend on Discord, because I tried to message him recently and it didn't go through. It was just before they added the message requests thing on Discord. So I don't know. I wouldn't, listen, I wouldn't blame him at all, because we were not very close when we were younger, and I moved out of my mom's house, and yeah, I mean, like, it was just not, like, I get it, I would just understand. Jimsy says, I only got older siblings and one of them became a Karen. Oh no. My sister just refuses to talk to me or anyone else in the family unless she wants something. Yeah, that's a bummer. It's kind of whatever. I would probably be super upset if my younger siblings stopped talking to me, but I've just had a more consistent relationship with them for the past 10 years. Is Mommy Milka's or Furry Trash a better name for a Tauren druid? I think Furry Trash is a better name for a Tauren druid specifically. Mommy Milka's could be just a good name for a female Tauren in general. Anyway. Exactly, Mama Mephistopheles. I always forget to change my oil, and then I get in my car and it yells at me, but I'm trying to go somewhere. Yeah, mine is a little bit overdue, and I mostly just like, I know that if I call and I'm like, hey, can I make an appointment? They're going to be like, oh, well, it's going to be like a month and a half out, so why don't you just call us and like see if we can squeeze it in on these certain days of the week. But I'm like, all right, so instead of like being able to plan ahead of time and have someone prepared to like pick me up from my mechanics and take me home and then pick me up again and take me to the mechanics, it's just going to be annoying because I won't be able to plan that ahead of time. So, and I actually kind of would rather just walk home. So now I'm just like, all right, well, when the weather's a little bit nicer, I'll do that thing that I need to do, which is call them and be like, hey, can you fit me in today? Like, just how's your schedule going right now? Do you have time to squeeze an oil change in? And just be prepared to walk home. So, like, ideally someday that I'm not streaming, you know? I have one older brother and 2 half sisters for a total of 2 siblings. All 3 of them are older than me. In that case, I only have 1.5 siblings because I have 3 half siblings. What's up, Robert, in the YouTube chat? Welcome in. And hello, Christy. Hello. Oh, yeah. So first of all, you should hit the like button because I enjoy hanging out with you all. And if you all are enjoying hanging out with me, you should hit the like button. And then some more people will come in and hang out with us. And then before too long, we will actually start talking about politics. We're still in the first hour, so we're just chilling. But on account of us just chilling, I kind of like, I haven't, you know, when you do something and you like get a little bit of positive attention from it, and then you start to feel like, oh, I'm really addicted to this positive attention. So you start seeking more positive attention for it. Hold on. So I took these pictures for my Fansly this week, and I just really like this one, and I have not yet wrung out all of the positive attention that I want to get from it. So I'm here to show you the picture in case you didn't see it on Twitter, which like this got almost 200 likes. Holy shit, they got almost 200 likes. That's a lot for me. And if you want to see the rest of the set, you can go to Fansly. But I do personally think that this is the best photo from the set. Personally, just think that that's the best one. Anyway, I think that I'm gonna, I have some N95 masks now. For a while, I was wearing some KN95s, and they actually made it kind of hard for me to breathe. Now I have N95s, and they are actually easier to breathe through. And I am thinking about... Oh God, what happened? Oh gosh, what was I saying? Oh, no. I got distracted. Oh, no. Where did it go? Shoot. I like read something and I got distracted, and the ADHD just like etch-a-sketched my brain. That's so frustrating. It just feels like I'm in the middle of like writing a thought, and like I'm tweaking the little nipples on the Etch-a-Sketch, you know? And it's like I'm in the process of it, and then fucking... Yeah, okay, N95s. Thank you, James. It's like an Etch-a-Sketch, though. It's like... And then everything's gone. I might actually start going to the gym because I do actually want to bulk out. And I know... So, Mersh, you sent me that book, and I read a couple chapters of it. And I think that what I've determined is that I am already doing everything that book said that I should do, more or less, and that I'm going to get really lean by doing a lot of calisthenics. Calisthenics is just body weight exercises, by the way. If you're doing push-ups, that's calisthenics because you're using your own body weight as the primary form of resistance. So pull-ups, push-ups, squats, if you're just doing squats with no weights on them. I called them that, Christy, because I was doing this in midair, and I was like, this looks like you're tweaking nipples, you know? That's why I made the connection. Anyway, oh yeah, it looks like a can of Arizona tea. It sure does. I love that dress. I love the fit of that dress. I have more of those dresses on one of my wish lists, but it's not my birthday yet. That's next month. I'll ask a lot of next month. You can do a lot with a set of dumbbells too. Yeah, I don't have dumbbells, and actually, yeah, how much are those adjustable ones? I was looking at those adjustable dumbbells the other day on stream, and I actually didn't internalize how much they cost. Yeah, they're like $200. That's expensive. There's like a place that I used to go to that I still have a membership to, so I could go and do lifting. You know how Google has this really great function where you'll go and Google like a restaurant, and it'll show a little widget that says when the restaurant is most busy throughout the day. Like, oh, it's really not very busy at about 5 o'clock because they literally just open at 5 o'clock, but at like 8 o'clock, they're quite busy. I was looking at that for the gym that I used to go to, And I realized that, oh, I guess maybe the perfect time to go is like 2 in the afternoon. It looks like 2 o'clock in the afternoon during the week is the best time to go to the gym, because that's when there are the fewest people there. So I have like N95s that I can actually breathe through. And I really only want to do like the weights, at least to start with. I think I want to only do the type of stuff that I'm already doing calisthenics wise. So I'm already doing squats in a low weight, high rep kind of way. I'm doing like a shit ton of squats with no weight and working my way up with more difficult types of squats, basically. And then, so I want to start going to the gym and doing weights with squats and like actually push my strength with like high weight, low rep stuff, because this is apparently the correct thing to do. I've read is to go several weeks of the low weight, high repetition, and then you switch over to doing like several weeks of like pushing your limits and like trying to max out. Yeah, Emma, lean Xander, lean. I don't want to just be lean though. That's why I want to bulk. I want to like bulk. I want to see if I can actually get these arms to start looking like, you know, impressive. That would be cool. I got some at Walmart for $50. Okay. The dial weights are not high if you get an off-brand. That might be good. I don't know if I'm going to be able to still like, if I'm going to be able to push my maximums with something like squatting. Listen, Timerinia, I am somewhat influenced by a certain Claire on Twitter. I think that I like her body a lot, and except that I think that it would be cool. Like, I prefer to wear the padded bra with the bulked look. I think that's nice. Although, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe I'll start binding again and try to go, like, mask with it. I don't know. I kind of prefer the juxtaposition. Flex Xander. True. That's true. I'm going to be Flexo. And I've been watching Futurama lately. Mask Xander. True. I love when a partner can smush me with their bicep and make me feel tiny with their muscles. There's certainly a mommy-dommy sort of avenue that I could swerve down here if I wanted to. That would be a hell of a way to make money on Fansly, wouldn't it? Hail hydrate. Oh gosh. Anyway, so I guess this is like some of the fun, these are like the fun things about, I'm like exploring what I want to do in my life. So I'm going to start, I think I want to camp at least sometimes. I want to start camping. I've started adding camping gear to my main Amazon wish list, which, by the way, I changed things around. I know that it used to be !move, but now on the website, if you type !wish, there's like all my wish lists, just because my birthday is going to be next month. And so if you guys want to check that stuff out, but on the home stuff list, I started adding some camping gear. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do camping stream. I would like to be able to do that. I just don't know if I would. I know some of you have expressed interest in such a thing though. So I use a pay for what you use service for my phone, and that means I don't have unlimited data. It does start to charge me quite a bit if I exceed that threshold, whatever the threshold is. Like 2 gigabytes is fine, but once you start using more than 2 gigs, it starts charging you way more. So I would have to get a little hotspot or something. I'm not entirely certain how it would work. It would be amusing though. Yeah, this is going to be a fun year for me because this is my second year streaming. I don't know when exactly it was. But we have now probably officially passed the point where I decided to start doing this like multiple times per week as like my main job. So it's been like a full year of this. I'm out there living on my own and I am doing this as my main thing, and I love doing this. It's really a lot of fun. I enjoy it, even though it's kind of stressful talking about, terrible political news all the time, but it's still a good time. And I'm gonna figure out some new things this year. Maybe we will find out that this format isn't working as well, or there's something more fun that we could be doing. We're gonna be having some fun exploring the possibilities. Be careful camping, especially if you're going alone. Watch out for the critters. There are some tough ones in the woods for sure. Been living in the mountains all of my life near the Shenandoah National Park. I'm gonna probably start off camping places that are pretty close to humans. I'm not gonna really start off by backpacking, if that makes any sense. I'm gonna like begin in places where there probably are gonna be a lot of other campers around, just because it's like, oh, like this campground at this park, like there's usually people there because like there's a little pond and there's really good fish in or something. I don't know, like carry bear spray. Yeah, I'm gonna stay near human beings for the most part. What's up, Emily? Hello. Oh, Quinn, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm pretty good at talking for just several consecutive hours. That's like a skill that I have. Animals are far more reasonable than people, but bring bear spray, keep a clean camp, and hang your food. I live in Kansas. Like, what do you think happens here? Which is not to say that I will not eventually travel for camping, but I'm easing into it, y'all. I need to acquire some things. I need a tent, which I know some people who might have tents that they can just give me. The fucking garage sale season is about to start, so I'm gonna see if I can get some camping gear that way. But like, I need to get a bedroll. I need to get all kinds of basic shit in order to just, for my first time camping at a place where there are going to be tons of people there. Like, there's this place that I would like to go camping where there are a bunch of people's RVs just parked there all year. So people are just kind of always around. Yeah, yeah. Watch out for the tornadoes. Bring tornado spray. True. Listen. We actually had our first real serious tornado issue like pretty recently after 10 years or so of not having any real tornado activity. It was weird. Do some research on where you're going. Pay attention to whether there have been any missing 411 incidents or bear attacks. I know of some weird stuff happening in Kansas too. Be careful, for sure. So yeah, I plan on going places where it's going to be fine at first, like very much gently easing into it. Places that I'm familiar with. Like, I'm going to go hiking in this place for a few times and then sleep there, maybe. If you get got by a NATO, you won't be in Kansas anymore. True. I checked my pepper spray recently. So, as always, I encourage you all to have pepper spray. It's a good thing to have. And if you have pepper spray, especially if you're carrying it in your purse or in your pocket where it's being jangled around a lot, you should check periodically that your pepper spray still works. And if you're worried like, oh, well, if I spray my pepper spray every once in a while, won't it run out? Like, yeah, but also that's good because it will expire and you probably want it to just run. I would say you want it to run out from testing to make sure it works before you get to the point where it's going to expire. So I just checked and made sure that my pepper spray was running because I was out on the trail and I was like, oh, well, there's no people around. There's no dogs around. Like, it's nice and windy, so I'll be able to point it away from me. And I was like, and I made sure that my pepper spray worked. Be good. I made a big pot of chili last night. I based the recipe on mole sauce. Very tasty. Oh, so you had like chocolatey chili? Isn't that what mole is? It's like a little bit, it's like got cocoa in it or something. You gotta look out for drop bears and chupacabras. True. Gotta watch out. And the jackalopes. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, mole just means sauce? I thought that mole meant like chocolate one. Yeah, Milo, is your pepper spray running? Haha, you better go catch it. No people, no dogs, but hundreds of kittens. How could you? I actually saw a deer when I was out there. I went hiking earlier this week, and I've got a couple of different places that I'm looking at hiking at, and one of the places that I was scoping out was like, I saw the spoor on the trail in a couple of places, but I figured like, I mean, I'm not really practiced at telling how recent it was. Like clearly they were not super old, because you could see like the moisture of the muddiness from the deer's hooves on the soil. But I was like, oh, I'm just gonna keep walking even though I see some deer spoor. That's fine. And then I went and another like 10 minutes or so, and I saw him. Or did I see him first, or did he spook? And then I think it spooked, and I was like, oh shit, there's movement suddenly in the woods. And then it stopped and was like looking at me, and I got a couple pictures. And then I was like, you know what I'm gonna do is I could probably keep walking and it would probably just run away, but I decided to turn around and not upset it, and also not risk the potential that it could just be aggressive toward me, because they have sharp hooves. You really don't want to dick around with deers. Mole is cocoa, cinnamon, and chipotle peppers for the primary flavors. Oh my god, I don't think I've ever had a mole, but now that you've described it, it sounds really good. I fucking love chipotle pepper. Like, at some point I got some smoked chipotle pepper, like spice, like it was, dried and powdered, and you would just like shake it in the same way that you have chili powder, but it was just chipotle pepper powder. It was delicious, and I can't find it again. Like, I ran out of that one, and I haven't been able to find it in the store again. I probably could find it online, but I haven't checked. I usually forget about it, but it's so good. It's so smoky. It's delicious. Ghost pepper discourse time. True. No, here's the real discourse. Habanero can kiss my ass. I fucking hate habanero. It's not even good. It's just hot for no reason. It's not even worth it. The ghost pepper is way hotter than a habanero, but it's so good and it's so worth it. Absurd. Fucking habaneros. Ridiculous. Is the pepper racist? Yeah. Ghost peppers are very racist. That's the thing. That's the secret. Ghosts are often white. That's true. Lux, you're hot for no reason. I know. It's so distressing, isn't it? It's like, how do you even deal? How do I even deal? I don't even know, man. This conversation is not conducive to having a lot of viewers tonight. Oh no. If you go to a Latin American grocery store, a lot of the times they will have mole paste and instructions on the bottle for how to make it into a lovely sauce for your proteins. There's a lot of stuff that I want to learn how to use. Like, I would love to learn. So I have a really beautiful mortar and pestle. And I'm like, I have some friends who, like, I have a friend who he used to post photos of, he would make just a shit ton of like enchiladas. And I think that he would make some of the spices in the sauce like custom with the mortar and pestle. So I'm like, okay, I would love to learn some recipes that require me to use that. And mole seems like something that you could do, like the different kinds of peppers with the cocoa powder. Like, you could just like do that. Oh my God, please. There is actually a cooking channel in the Discord, I think. There should be. Yeah, there's a food and cooking portion in the Discord. We're welcome to post pictures and recipes and stuff. But also, there's also stuff like I've heard of gochujang a lot, like Korean spices, and I would love to learn how to use those as well. I would love to learn how to use yogurt as a base for more stuff. I really hope I'm not fucking lactose intolerant. I'm gonna be so upset if I learn that I'm lactose intolerant. It's gonna be very annoying. I had enchiladas for breakfast. I don't eat Mexican food very much, but that right now is mostly because I am not eating out very much. I recently made like the shittiest burrito that I could possibly have made. Like what I did was I took the can of refried beans and I started heating up the refried beans on the stove, and I took some sour cream and added that to the refried beans to like thin it out a little bit. And I think I thinned it out a little bit too much, honestly, but that's fine. And then I started to cook some onions, and then I got those onions like cooked up, and I threw in the ground beef with a fuck ton of cumin and some pepper and some salt. Did I add anything else? Onion powder and garlic powder. And I was like, all right, this is bet. Like, this is going to be delicious. And the entire burrito, the whole burrito was just refried beans that had been thinned out with sour cream, and then the beef, and then, or actually, I don't know, maybe the beef went first. I can't remember which one first. And then the beef and the onions, and then just some shredded cheese. And I wrapped that up in a tortilla, and I scarfed it down, and I did not finish eating the refried beans. I had to throw them away today. But man, that was just like a shitty burrito, and I needed to eat it. It's what I wanted. Oh, by the way, this is something I'll probably have to bring up periodically because there aren't very many people in here. But I, as of this week, I have a P.O. box. And I'm not going to make it public, but if you have a specific thing that you would like to send in, I will give you it if you private message me on like Discord or something like that. Discord or maybe Twitter. So that I don't have, if the address just gets out there, I don't want that, because I don't want to potentially be sent like dead animals or dog shit or something. So help me, help you. Help you, help me. Frijoles refritos. Yeah, true. Yeah, refried beans. Loving that lard. Damn, I wanted to send you a bomb. I know. So sad, Penrose. I'm such a bummer. Not fun at all. Yes, I was thinking of you, Mama Mephistopheles, of, I know that you had sent in that picture of a thing that you had made, so. Excellent. If anybody wants to send some cold, hard cash, I'll take it. This is maybe one of the dumbest things I've ever tweeted, but I want to share it with you anyway. You've heard of being T for T, but have you also considered going A for A? Have you? Autistic for autistic. And I added in an additional tweet says, with all of your friends and political allies especially, I've just come to realize that I think that this is the thing, okay? I know that I bitch about this all the time, but I truly think that the thing that is going to black pill me the most about life and everything is going to be the fact that I'm autistic, and that like I don't know that political action is possible with allistics. Like, which that's like a kind of a brand new thought that I've had as of today. I thought you meant anarchist for anarchist. True. Someone in the chat or someone in the replies said they're ace for ace, and I was like, that's pretty great. I can do ADHD for ADHD, take it or leave it. I don't think I can. I just don't know, man, at this point. inadvertently A for years at this point. Yeah, that's been a lot of the people in the replies were like, yeah, I am. There a lot of people are like, yeah, I've been A for years. I've done this for years without realizing it. I think me and my GF are accidentally A for because neither of us have it diagnosed, but we both have traits. Oh gosh. Someone said I thought this meant ass to ass at first. Oh no. And then someone tagged in dough. Ace arrow to ace arrow, true. I haven't seen Scarlet Witch stuff. Don't tell me spoilers about it. I'm gonna probably watch it eventually. My BF and I are both autistic. Only one of us is trans, though, as far as I'm aware. To be clear, I am not T for T. Like, I am in a relationship with a cis man. That's what we're doing. But I just thought that it was funny. Like, because I don't think that communication with allistics is very fair. Oh, that's comics. My bad. T for T is the absolute best, though. I've just been in the same relationship for like 13 and a half years, y'all. Like I've been with my partner for 13 and a half years. I've been married for more than 10 years. And if I were to suddenly find myself single, I don't think that I would date for a while. Like I don't think that I would. So it's, you know, any of you out there who are hoping that my that I get divorced or something, like just know that it doesn't mean I'm going to become any more available. Being with someone who gets it is amazing. I get that it's probably the same way with autistic folks. Yeah, like, I mean, I think my spiciest new political take is that I don't think that political coalition building with allistics is ever going to work out. Like, I kind of am starting to think that autistics are the only people who should be in charge. Yeah, exactly, Crestfall. There go my plans on sabotaging Luxander's long-standing relationship for personal gain. You're not going to get anything out of it. Stop, villain. Yeah, rip unsubscribed, exactly. I am also currently, quote, not dating and doing the horizontal tango regularly with 3 T for T folks in my area. That sounds like so much work. That sounds like so much effort. I'm not Arrow, I'm just behind. Well, Christy, you're like 20, right? You're like 20. You're still young and you just started transitioning not too long ago. Like, you'll figure it out. Don't worry. Oh my god. These sweats are a little bit loose on me. Arg. Oh, jeez. Ah, jeez. Ah, jeez. We got so many links today. I got so many links open today. Yeah, boy, this stream is not doing as well as some other ones have been recently, but that's okay. It's like, it's hard for me to tell if doing the title something like political is good or not, because it seems like it kind of is hit or miss. Hello, Morgan. Welcome in. Yeah, poly people, I see you people, like, getting accidentally into relationships, and it's very funny. Tell us your MTG takes. I will get there. I'll get there, all right? Oh, man. I was really singing earlier, like, I was really belting it out while I was, in my car earlier today, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do a full 4 hours tonight. Starting to get a little bit sore. I heard poly people and was like, oh no, oh no. Maybe they meant Magic the Gathering. I don't really have any Magic the Gathering takes. Thankfully. It's just not... I used to play Magic the Gathering with one of my, with my partner, and like sometimes we would play with friends, but I have a deck around here somewhere. It's probably in a box in my closet or something like that, but I just haven't ever really been into it. And it sucks because there's constant power creep. So even if you have well-tuned decks from 10 years ago, those decks are not going to be competitive anymore unless everyone you know also almost exclusively has cards from 10 years ago. Ashamed to be a poly person due to the association now. How dare you? That's okay. So even if you weren't convinced by the fact that poly was already a shorthand for Polynesian before polyamory became popularized, then this would then be the good reason to start calling it polyam instead of poly. I feel like if the title is going to be political, it needs to be immediately breaking news. Even if the story is only a day old, I feel like some people might not tune in if they've already heard about it from someone else. Yeah, that's fair. I also have come to realize, though, that, like, not everyone is on Twitter. And, like, so the audience on Twitter and the audience on YouTube are two different places. And folks who might be keeping up to date on everything that's happening on Twitter in real time might not be hearing about it until they're on YouTube. And like, yeah, Vosh has probably already talked about it. And yeah, so-and-so has probably already talked about it. But not everyone in my audience also watches Vosh. There is going to be someone for whom this is new news. But granted, yeah, I mean, I guess if I was the one breaking the story, it would obviously be better. But I'm never going to be that person who's breaking the story. Especially these days, I'm on Twitter way less. Yeah, I should probably be on Twitter way less, but it's still one of the main things it's one of the main places that I get info from. MTG is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a representative from Georgia, the state in the United States, not the country. She's an American representative, and she is the worst. I mean, she's not the worst, but she's pretty terrible. I don't care what Vosh has to say about this. He always sounds like he's explaining something to children when he talks about trans issues. I mean, listen, Vosh knows his place. Okay, so I am trans. If you come to me, you're usually already someone who is somewhat red-pilled on trans people. Like, you're going to be someone who already is at least somewhat accepting of binary trans people. Whereas Vosh, because of his, like, propensity for slurs and stuff, you know, he's like a 101 level. People come in and they think, oh, this is a straight guy telling me some stuff. And then they find out he's pansexual and they go, oh my God, this dude's gay. Like, now I have a totally different idea of what gay people are like. And then he starts educating them about trans issues. And, you know, that's the level of you know, info that those people are ready for. And then, you know what? Someone should peer pressure Vosh into having me on his stream. I'm kidding. Don't do this. But it is, like, interesting, like, because he does onboard people on the trans subject, but I kind of wish that there were some way, like, I know that, and Xander Hall does this too. So Xander Hall and Vosh do this. So, like, when those guys start to get some 101 teaching out, I wish that they could funnel people our way to, like, trans streamers once folks have, like, their basic level of understanding and, like, they're okay with the concept of trans people. Because of the fact that Vosh kind of stays at that 101 level, then you have folks who are just, like, you know, they might come around on binary trans people, but they might still really struggle with, like, I don't know, like, you know, we had that really in-depth xenogender conversation, and I don't think that many cis folks that I've ever seen talk about xenogenders have made the argument that it's just any non-binary person who doesn't exclusively define their gender within the context of, like, a sliding scale between masculine and feminine. Like, literally every person with a gender other than gender fluid or demi boy, like, is a xenogender, basically. Hello, Dizzy. Hello. Hope that you're doing well tonight. Yeah, so I'm not saying that Vosh speaks over trans people, just to clarify. I just think that he gets people in, and then I don't know that people are then directed toward people who are more in depth on this. Yeah, Demon Mama and Kanye are very good at talking about trans issues. I feel bad because I like being in here because this place is small enough we can have a conversation, but it would mean if Lux got bigger, then that would go away. Yeah. But like Demon Mama and Kanye are also both people who you kind of need to already be a little bit clued in to trans issues. You know, actually, maybe Vosh does funnel people toward like Kanye and Demon Mama, and I just happen to not be networking well enough to have people directing folks my way. Like how often do folks in this chat specifically come from another streamer? Maybe we should work harder to do more cross-pollination. It does seem like that is quite important. ContraPoints was the best Trans 101 person back in the day. IDK, who does that now. She did a very specific type of thing, too. ContraPoint, like Natalie, she always has done this really high-brow, polished thing. You don't stream after Vosh's stream usually, so I don't think he's ever been able to host you. I don't think that Vosh has a stream schedule. Like, I think he streams kind of whenever, doesn't he? I knew of you way before I knew of Vosh and DM and any of those people. Found you before I found Kanye. I still don't watch Kanye. Like, I think have I been to the website? Vouch's schedule is that he's always late. Anything can be shoved into a masculine or feminine box, even if that doesn't actually make a whole lot of sense. I mean, people will say like, oh, cat gender is kind of like a female gender. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Only because we've like culturally coded cats as female. What if we were in ancient Egypt and then someone had cat gender? It's like, actually, that would be kind of blasphemous, I think, because cats are gods in that religion, but whatever. Yeah, I like shoving things into masculine and or feminine boxes. True. Hey, Winter Nightmare, welcome in. You can't be late when you don't have a schedule. I mean, that's definitely true. It's still pretty much always later than you or way earlier. Yeah, that's fair. I was not really thinking of the hosting thing when I was saying like direct people our way. I meant more just like dropping mentions and like watching our content and stuff. But I don't know. I don't have the good original content yet. Gotta keep working. Maybe that's a goal that we should have for this 2023, this second year of being a full-time streamer, is make more content that is stuff that other people could react to. I don't know. I guess that means that I have to do my own, like, proactive segments. Cats are autism coded. That's true. I believe that, absolutely. As a kid, I thought that dogs and cats were the same species, but cats were female and dogs were male. Oh, that's so funny. That is super funny. Everybody seems like in agreement that cats are autism gender. It's still so weird to not be living with a cat. It's like it's the first time in well over 10 years. Contra being the Trans 101 person, quote, back in the day feels so weird to hear because I remember when she came out and I'd already been out for a few years at that point. I am such an ancient tran compared to so many people. Did you know that I've been out as non-binary since 2009? Yeah. I think it's been since 2009. I think dogs have ADHD and cats have autism. I think that's fair. In German, the word for cat is always considered grammatically female, regardless of the cat's gender, which is so confusing. In French, I think that cat is masculine. Gato, I think that's masculine. In Spanish, yeah, cats are so cute. Just don't try to pet the big tan ones when you go hiking. Again, what do you think happens in Kansas? We don't have mountain lions here. Actually, that's not entirely true. I'm pretty sure that I didn't witness it, but someone I know, I was driving in the car with someone and they said that they saw a mountain lion, or a cat of similar size. Carry bear spray, it works on cougars too. Is that really like a first? If I'm going to a heavily trafficked campground, am I gonna really need to take bear spray? Do y'all really think that that's like a necessary thing that I should do? I really am excited to do this fucking camping trip, like for serious. I need to have a bedroll more than I do currently, because the current amount of bedroll that I have is none. But that's either going to be a wish list item or it's going to wait until closer to my birthday when I can justify spending like $100. In Portuguese, it's gato for male or unknown and gata for female. I think Spanish is the same. But like a cat generally is just gato, right? Bedroll, spring roll, none of these flavors make sense. I can't help with that. The fungus gnats are back in force. I got some insecticide, some killer that's supposed to help. We will see how that turns out. I have so many notes. I want to start with something kind of stupid. I think I want to start with something stupid. And then we'll talk about serious shit. We'll get into it. I don't even know, even the serious stuff today isn't all that serious. Sort of depends. Maybe we'll do news, but still nothing serious tonight, and I'll still save the serious news for Sunday. I don't know. Oh gosh. Laundry sheets keep flies away. It's like fungus gnats that I'm having an issue with here. There's been a clown murder? That's very serious news. I'm not gonna make a segment out of this, I don't think, because I just think that... Well, I don't know. Should I? I don't know. Let me get a drink of water while I think about this, because I've officially KO'd this entire cup of water. We're gonna talk about The Onion. I think actually, yeah, no, hold on. Does anybody have that tweet? I'm gonna look for it myself right now, but do any of you offhand just have that tweet where someone apologized to J.K. Rowling for insinuating that her views were adjacent to Nazis, and then a whole bunch of people were like, this is like the reason that people have to take those comments down is because she can sue? Like, you don't have the same kind of anti-slap laws. Oh, I don't know what the name was. That's part of the problem, is that I don't even know how to find this tweet. JJ Wells? Oh, come on. I would like the tweet. Please give me the tweet. I found this thing. Come on. Stop trying to fucking make me turn off my ad blocker, you piece of shit. God damn it. So frustrating. Just let me be a freeloader, okay? Hello, Bobby. Welcome to the website. How you doing? I would like the tweet. Please give me the tweet. Give me the tweet. Give me the tweet. Oh, this has been narrative. Oh, this is all of it. Okay, I got it. I wouldn't need an ad blocker if ads weren't so intrusive. Amen. Like, how about you fucking stop having them be so, like, loud and all over the place? Okay, cool. Yeah, so this should be a segment. We should do this. Our libel/defamation laws are weird in my opinion, and although in reality the court should laugh her out of court, I really don't doubt that they'd side with her. Your whole government is super fucking weird. Super Dr. Hulock. Like, I really don't get it. You all don't actually have freedom of speech. You allegedly have the right to healthcare, but it's like, JK, actually you don't have the right to healthcare. It's super, super weird. I find such a difficult time understanding it. I got YouTube Premium. I forgot ads existed. Well, on, you know, all of the random websites that I read for the purposes of this stream, plenty of them have ads on them, and I sometimes won't even let you access them unless you have ads turned on. Welcome in, Dashy. So we got Dashy and T-Rex again. My enabling WoW hordes. We got hordes from the Horde. Actually, that's a question. All of you who play WoW, sign off real quick. Are you Alliance or Horde? Here's my thing. I don't like the Alliance at all. I would be Horde all the time if I could just be a Night Elf. So I think that being a Night Elf is the only thing that makes me Alliance. Every time I'm doing quests on one of my Alliance tunes, I'm like, I fucking hate this. I don't like doing that. But I prefer to play as a Night Elf. And I think that if I were to... I can't decide, actually. If I were to start a priest at this point, would that priest be Draenei or Night Elf? Alliance 9 out of 10 times. I have a Volpera, though. Yeah, that's what you do when you're a fucking furry who plays WoW. You gotta play a Volpera. It's so based. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, if you all don't have a drink, you should get yourself a drink. If you don't have a snack, get yourself a little snack. I'm gonna refill my water, and I will be back momentarily. And then we will talk about The Onion and J.K. Rowling. Okay. See, I came back. Oh, you're all okay. Playing WoW Classic right now. Orc DK. Eek. What the fuck is the appeal of playing a DK? Who's getting a divorce? Nope, it's not my partner yet. We make jokes. No, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene. It starts at level 55. That's the appeal. Ugh. I don't like the DK. Sorry. I'm glad that you all enjoyed that. They're I tried to strike the perfect balance between like a very real moment and then like also joking, but also like, but also haha, but also. I mained Blood DK in BFA. It's the second funnest tank. I just don't get it, but it's fine. I won't yuck your yum. We used to fucking make fun of Death Knights all the time, and like if we were running dungeons and we ended up running with a Death Knight, it was soon after Death Knights came out. Of course, it was much yeah, big JK on less vibes. But yeah, no, we would make fun of them and be like, oh, you have to like key smash with your face on the keyboard. What's a DK's favorite move? The key smash. Embarrassing, but who is Marjorie Taylor Greene? Marjorie Taylor Greene is, she's an elected representative of the United States government. I mean, she represents the people of Georgia. I thought the meme was face roll. Yeah. Face roll. That's what it was. Yes, exactly. Rolling your face across the keyboard. Key smash. It's been more than 10 years. Do you ever unlock a memory? I unlocked a memory from early in my WoW days that like I can't even share on stream. I need to process this with one of my friends, I think. Like I unlocked a memory of some shit that we used to do like when we were running dungeons back in the day. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot that we did these things and I haven't thought about it in a really long time. I gotta like process my old WoW memories. Stream lagging? Well, shit. There's not a lot I can do about that. Like my computer is not is it like the internet or is it my computer? I don't know. If it continues, I will have to fix something. The stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. I can see that it's stuttering. Like, I can see it. And it's giving me a little warning. I don't know if that's like something that's in my Streamlabs that I should change or is it just that my internet is actually fucking up right now? Maybe it'll be okay. Okay. It's better now? Okay. Well, hopefully that doesn't keep happening. Right as we're about to get into an actual thing. I call her Marjorie Taylor Gangrene. I think that that's probably not too far off. But so, yeah, we're about to start talking about The Onion and J.K. Rowling. If you all are enjoying hanging out, why don't you hit the like button really fast? It's free, it's fast, it immediately helps the stream. Always. There is an immediate increase in the number of people. And hey, while we're here talking about it, if you've never donated before, consider dropping me $1 on Patreon. It's like that's like $12 a year. That would be as though you had bought me a birthday present, except that I can like budget around it. Or if you want to join the website and get a $5 subscription to the website and get yourself a little custom emojis. We love the custom emojis on the website. This is my full-time job to be a gender philosopher and political commentator, so we appreciate your support. This show is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Thank you. Did she respond on Twitter? Are you talking about Marjorie? Not that I've seen. Delicious. Yes, exactly. Ding, hit the like button. Smash that like, stomp that like button. Stompy. I need a stompy emoji. Your stream is a good investment. Thank you. I appreciate you all. There are no viewers like me. There are no. You're like Jaime Lannister. There are no men like me. Oh gosh. Anyhow, if you're just coming in, we just had a few people trickle in. Hit the like button really fast. We are about to talk about The Onion and J.K. Rowling. Main reason I'm playing a DK is because I'm getting started on a new realm in Wrath Classic on Horde. Oh, okay. I guess that's fair enough. I'll give you that. Yeah, I've been thinking about starting a character in Wrath Classic, but I'm mostly focused on unlocking all of the, I'm unlocking the new Alliance races right now, just because it's a goal that I just want to finish the fucking BFA shit. Anyway, in the UK, they really don't have the same kind of protections against lawsuits as they do in the United States. In the US, we have these, it's different state by state, but it's called an anti-slap lawsuit. Do y'all remember when John Oliver was talking about that guy who worked at that company? He was like the owner of a company. It was maybe a mining company, and he was talking mad shit, and they ended up doing a whole thing where letters were being sent back and forth, cease and desist letters. They were being sued, and HBO ended up standing behind John Oliver, and they won their lawsuit. And it's called an anti-slap suit, SLAPP, because that's the law that is in place that says if you're a public figure who is a certain level of bigness, then comments about you are legally allowed that maybe if you were a private citizen would be like illegal. Like you would have certain protections. Like you lose certain protections about that as if you become like a public figure. So yeah, it was a coal company, and they said, "Screw you, Bob." Oh yeah, because they had let people go from their company and given them severance checks that were like only $1, and instead of cashing the checks, people had like written "Screw you, Bob" on them and smeared shit on them and things like that, and sent them back to the company. So yeah, that was a whole thing. Anyway, slap suits. So in the UK, they don't have those same kind of protections. You got to do the John Oliver voice. I for sure cannot do a John Oliver voice. I absolutely cannot do that, especially not today. But just in general, I'm gonna let you know that that's not within my repertoire. Oh no. So on account of there not being such protections in the UK, we end up in situations like this, where an activist is forced to apologize for calling J.K. Rowling a Nazi after she threatens him with legal action. Yeah, that's John Oliver for sure. So the narrative of this is that J.J. Wells originally said, what was this tweet? Show it to me, please. Okay, so this person said about J.K. Rowling, "Well, to be fair, the woman in question wasn't actually being threatened with being burned alive. Hyperbolic metaphor based on her original tweet, but you know that you're playing dumb intentionally for clout. And also she is a Nazi, or at least has views that align with them." And then J.K. Rowling said, "The thing about the solicitor's game is everyone can play, JJ. I ignored your..." Okay, why did you click that? Can you please stop being such a piece of garbage? Thank you. Okay, whatever. So J.K. Rowling quote tweeted that, basically. She screenshot tweeted that and said, "The thing about the solicitor's game is everyone can play, JJ. I ignored your, quote, hyperbolic metaphor about burning me to death in 2020, but I'm starting to think that was a mistake. What's your solicitor's view on this Nazi accusation? Would they advise you to defend it in court?" Kissy face. So she's on Twitter openly threatening to sue someone, basically, for saying that her views are aligned with Nazis, which, to be totally clear, the Nazis believed that you could become gay or trans by being recruited and exposed to that lifestyle. So, and, they believed that men should not cross-dress, which, like, ultimately that is the view that a lot of these TERFs have, is they say, why don't you dress however you want? But then a little boy wants to wear a dress and they still shit their pants because they are not ideologically consistent. But yeah, her views are absolutely views that Nazis have and had. And they seem to look at what you're saying. When Nazis agree with you, you should maybe be like, I don't know that I'm doing the right thing anymore. Like, that's the correct response to have. But instead, she doubles down on this and says, okie dokie, JJ, we'll play it your way. Give my regards to your solicitor, winky face. Which then prompted JJ to later say, this is more recently, I would like to publicly apologize for a previous Twitter thread where I interacted with J.K. Rowling on matters relating to the transgender community. I have now removed these tweets and would like to apologize to J.K. Rowling directly for causing potential upset. I failed to choose my words with care and would like to retract my previous statements relating to her views on the LGBTQ plus community and more specifically transgender people. I would also like to retract my likening to J.K. Rowling to any far-right or Nazi organization and emphasize I do not wish any individual, inclusive of J.K. Rowling, to come to any harm. So this is because people cannot afford that, like, this potential lawsuit. You know, you probably can guess that John Oliver being sued over this, like, it was not cheap, and he would not have been, like, if HBO had not been willing to foot the money for it, he would have had to fold and retract his statements. So if you live in a country like the UK where they don't have legal protections that would, you know, lead to you winning the case, and even then, just being sued in the first place is a huge problem. So J.K. Rowling is fully willing to use the arm of the law to stifle other people's speech in ways that, like, in the United States, this would not be acceptable. Like, this would not work. For real, she's just throwing around her money and lawyers. She knows her views align with Nazis, but people who are poorer and not fucking obsessed aren't willing to risk a legal battle. Right. The great thing about being an American is that you can, the great thing about being an American is that I can say J.K. Rowling's views align with Nazis, and even if she isn't personally one, she is a useful idiot for Nazis, and she is helping them win this, like, fascist takeover culture war bullshit, essentially. The passive aggressive way you talk to your PC is me too. I don't want to be outright mean to it. I'm outright mean to my phone, but I don't want to be outright mean to my PC. It just feels like bad energy. Yeah, exactly. Legally, I am not allowed to identify your behavior. Like, in the UK, legally, you cannot point out that the Nazi views on homosexuality and transsexuality is in line with J.K. Rowling's modern views. She literally hangs out with extremists. Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't live there, so I can say whatever the fuck I want. And someone else who is taking that same kind of cue that I'm taking of, you know, I live in America, so I can say whatever the fuck I want about J.K. Rowling. Here's a great thing. So does The Onion. Like, The Onion is sourced in America, America's finest news source. The Onion is a satire publication. We were looking at this a little bit more recently, where they posted something like, it's journalism's ethical imperative to make life hard for trans people, basically. And they're just going so hard on the being trans supportive right now. Evangelical leaders announced J.K. Rowling finally bigoted enough that it's okay for kids to read about witchcraft. Published earlier this week. I don't want to read through this whole thing because I don't want to try to, or I guess it's not very long at all. It's just a short little blurb just saying, like, following a series of transphobic comments by the Harry Potter author, the nation's top evangelical leaders announced Monday that J.K. Rowling had finally become bigoted enough to make it okay for kids to read about witchcraft. While I always appreciated Ms. Rowling making the greedy banker goblins a thinly veiled stand-in for the Jews, it is only with her assertions that trans women aren't women that I have finally come around to allowing children to read her books, said the evangelist and Focus on the Family president Jim Daly. Oh, God. Oh, man. I don't want to read this whole thing because I don't want to, like, literally, you should read them. Like, you should go to The Onion and read these. I don't want to take their whole article. Yeah, she sides with Matt Walsh, a self-identified fascist, for sure. And then this is even more recent. This is both this week. They're really testing her. I think that they're about to, like, they're flaunting, they're like taunting her because she can't sue them, or maybe maybe she'll try anyway. It's going to be funny. I hope that she's mad. Like, I hope that she's mad because her money is not going to be able to stop The Onion from publishing whatever they want. Oh my God. Okay, so The Onion's exclusive interview with J.K. Rowling. Oh yeah, this is a slideshow. Okay. She starts off, so The Onion says, "Hi, thanks for doing this interview with us today." She says, "Tell me which genitals you have right now." "Why is your lawyer here? Are you preemptively suing us for defamation over this interview?" She says, "Yes, because somehow I always come off as the bad guy when discussing this topic." I want to just find some highlights in here. Let's find some highlights in here. Oh my God, this one's funny. "Do you feel at all guilty to have disappointed some fans with your views?" "Hell no. Look, I wrote those books for kids 20 years ago. If you're still into that shit, you're a fucking loser." True. Oh man, true. Oh, this one's a really good one. "Would you tell us about a time you were personally victimized by a trans person?" "Yes, I remember it like it was yesterday. You see, I was advocating for their total annihilation, and then a few of them said some mean words to me on the internet." True. Oh, man. Some of these are not winners, but there were a couple of good ones that I saw floating around. "Why were you absent from the Harry Potter reunion? Did HBO bar you from attending?" "No, I was busy that day protesting a 13-year-old wearing a skirt." Oh no. Oh, this one is Sav. Oh no. "Was it embarrassing when you used a pseudonym to see if people would like your work without the name J.K. Rowling attached, and it turns out that they didn't like it at all, and then you had to reveal you were using a pseudonym to increase the sales?" Yes, quite. Oh, man. Oh, "What do you think about cisgender people who support trans people living as their preferred gender?" They can all die too. Oh my gosh. Okay, I wonder, this is the last one, or maybe no, this is not the last one. No, it is. Go back. Go back. Let me see it. "Do you have anything you'd like to tell your fans?" "I just want to say that there are thousands of my fans, potentially millions, who spend time online debating why the Wizards didn't stop the Holocaust. Some of them defend the Wizards and concoct all sorts of torturous explanations for why the Wizards didn't stop the Holocaust. Many of them display a startling lack of actual historical knowledge, and most of them seem entirely unaware that expending so much energy even debating this kind of intercession of fiction into one of humanity's worst atrocities is fairly grotesque on its face. So I'd like to just say, keep at it. You're almost there." Oh, Lord. Oh, I really hope that she's mad, because The Onion, like, again, they exist in the United States. I don't think that you can do that kind of lawsuit across the ocean. Yeah, and of course, let's not forget that the pseudonym Robert Galbraith is that's the pseudonym that she uses to write her weird, creepy, very explicitly anti-trans novels nowadays. Is that guy? It's the middle name and last name of a famous gay conversion therapist, like someone who would go out of their way to try to make gay people not gay, like magically, by torturing them, essentially, like by giving them a little electroshocks and some such. So, wow, yeah. I hope she's mad. God bless J.K. Rowling. God bless. I wonder how she feels about kilts. Well, I mean, fundamentally, the thing about the Brits is that they feel superior to everyone. And, like, aren't the Scottish people, like, obviously the Irish folks, they did the very deliberate starvation thing, but did they do a similar kind of conquering to the Scots? Yeah, they totally did, right? They conquered the Scots in the same way. So, of course, British people probably think that, like, there are inherently things wrong with Scottish and Welsh and Irish culture. Wait, what about the Twitter fanfiction one? The occupation of Northern Ireland. Yeah, I don't even know all of the fucked up things. Technically, they married into the Scottish throne. Respect the Dead podcast did an episode on Galbraith. Really? Oh my gosh, my voice hurts. I really, really pushed it today when I was singing in my car. I don't normally do that. The Brits tried unsuccessfully to exterminate Celtic people. Isn't that what the drove the snakes out of Ireland thing is? It has to do with, like, the Celtics or the pagans or something? England also tried to erase Welsh culture and language. They're really great at trying to erase things. They want to erase Scottish people. They want to erase the Irish. They want to erase Welsh people. They want to erase trans people. English people are stupid to be so arrogant and pompous about their colonization and rule because literally everyone likes Scottish, Welsh, and Irish culture better than the English. It's true. It's, like, embarrassing to be English. I think it's less embarrassing to be English if you're Northern. I feel like if you're Northern, you're cool. But other than that, like, you suck. Just by association, you know? I mean, listen, as an American, I suck, to be clear. I can only talk so much, like, as a white American, I too am far too, I'm far too close to the center of power. What the fuck did they ever even do? Put stolen beans on stolen toast. I got some hummus right now. It's so good. I bought some fucking ciabatta the other day because I wanted some. I just saw it on the shelf and was like, you know what? I have $5, so I'm gonna get some ciabatta. And I got, first of all, some, like, garlic feta cheese dip. It's, like, soft, creamy, soft, spreadable cheese. It's so fucking good. And I was using the ciabatta on the hummus as well, which made me feel like I was committing some kind of crime. Just because you usually use, like, a flatbread, right? With hummus, it's usually some kind of, like, it's usually, like a pita bread, essentially. That's why this country has never felt patriotic to me. I've never been patriotic, but I also think that might just be an autism thing, where I don't really feel a connection to, like, a local sports team or the country that I live in. I kind of feel like I'm connected to the state that I live in, but not because it's the state that I live in, but rather because it's, like, the place that I'm from. And, like, that has been something that I've been sort of coming to terms with and reconciling and mourning a little bit, is that if this country becomes an unsafe place for me, like, I have imagined, here's the one that really got me. I don't know if I will ever live in a house, but if I do live in a house long term, I am not going to be able to plant native grasses that are actually native to there. Like, you know, I'm from Kansas. We used to have a lot of prairie. I think that it would be healthy for us to put more. Oh, so the reason why prairie grasses are so important is because, yeah, chin up, you might rent a house one day, true, but I won't be able to make any permanent landscaping decisions at a house that I'm renting. But the the roots of those tall prairie grasses, you know, the grass itself might be like 3 or 4 feet tall, but the roots go down like 11 feet. And so that's why the Dust Bowl happened here, is because it's like when you cut down all these prairie grasses, the thing that you were getting rid of was like earnestly like 6 to 12 feet of roots in the ground, like holding all the dirt together. And so like that's why we had the Dust Bowl here. It wasn't because they cut down all the trees, it's because they cut down all the prairie grasses. So I have fantasized about owning a house here and planting native grasses to help to benefit the soil and to create habitat, you know, for mice or whatever that want to live in the grass. But if I own a house someday, potentially later, it's probably not even going to be in this area. Like, so if I own a house, it probably won't be here. So if I were to plant those grasses, they wouldn't be native anymore. And that's the thing that really upset me when I realized it not too long ago. Yeah, now America has the vinyl chloride bowl. I know someone who just fairly recently bought a house in Ohio, and I'm like, I really hope that they are thinking about moving. Hummus is better on yeasted bread with some girth and crust. Have you had it with ciabatta, Serena? Because like, I guess ciabatta doesn't. It's got some good structure to it. It's got that like cakey density, but it is quite airy. So I guess in that way, I mean, I kind of like the airiness of it because that means then you have like some pockets of like depth for the hummus to get into. I dream of sneaking onto other people's property and planting prairie grass. Just throw prairie grass seeds everywhere. Exactly. Like an English muffin. Yeah, for sure. Anyone want to buy a house? Yeah. There's going to be people who don't believe in pollution who will buy your house. I'm sure, Shade. Ugh. My husband makes it with sourdough. I don't know if I like sourdough. I have to try it some. I would like to start trying some different breads. I actually just Googled earlier today, like, what is the purpose of different breads? You know, there are so many different kinds of breads. Like, what are they for? A lot of bread, like African breads, a lot of those breads are used, like, that is your utensil for, like, you use that to scrape up the other foods on your plate. You know, what is ciabatta bread for at the end of the day? What is baguette for? Like, what were they invented to do? Urban seed bombs are a vandalism thing. I've heard of this before. This idea of you can like put you can drop some seeds of endangered flowers and things onto like golf courses so that it'll be illegal for the golf course to remove those species, which I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying that I've heard of it before. Hell yeah, be gay, do criminal agriculture. Y'all, what should I get to eat on my way home from work? If it was me getting something to eat on my way home from work right now, I would probably get either Taco Bell or Chipotle. I feel strongly connected to the Puget Sound area because I grew up here and I am very fond of this place and my knowledge of the local fauna and flora. Yeah, I was just thinking recently, I was driving through a certain place and I was like, you know, I would never live in this area because I know that this is a really bad part of town. And I was like, it would really suck if I moved to another place and I ended up moving into the bad part of town because I didn't know any better. Like, that would be a pain in the ass. Maybe I'm a bad Texan, but I just don't care for Mexican that much. Chipotle and Taco Bell are not Mexican food. That's Tex-Mex. That's bullshit Americanized Mexican food. It's not the same. If you're a Texan, I would think like, oh yeah, I would think you have a familiarity with actual Mexican food that would make Tex-Mex a lot less appealing. Some of the fauna is driving me crazy right now. Neighbor dog barking. I had some neighbor dog bark shit happening earlier this week, and I am glad that I haven't noticed it as much today. It's barely Tex-Mex. Yeah, I mean, Taco Bell is barely Tex-Mex. I am a big fan of the barbacoa for the Chipotle barbacoa, but I've been doing a pretty good job of not getting fast food this month. I got a little tiny bit of fast food this week, but for the most part, I think, so actually that's not bad. Is this the third week of the month? This is basically like the third full week of the month, and this is the first time that I bought fast food this month, was this week. Hello, Emily. Welcome. I know some places, but they don't have drive-thrus. I've mostly explored the good Asian food places in San Antonio. I wish that I liked Chinese food more. You brought up fast food. We're kind of talking about food in general right now, which I don't know why. Why do we talk about food during stream? Like, we should not ever talk about food during stream because it just I carb loaded before stream, and I'm still like, my tummy is starting to go like, I'm like, dude, it's only been 3 hours since I ate. Or, yeah, I basically ate right at 4:15-ish, so it's only been a couple hours. Oh gosh, what else do I have today? What's going on in my notifications? Doe, when is it going to follow me? Doe is never going to follow me. It has interacted with my tweets like 5 separate times, and it's not going to follow me. It's fucking, just ever so slightly frustrating. My neighbors get mad because I won't kill my dandelions. LOL, glad they don't sue. Listen, can you explain to your neighbors that fucking dandelions are like the first food that bees have access to in the spring, and if you kill dandelions, you kill bees. You have to let the dandelions go until you see the first blackberries of the season. Like, you have to let them go. I'm eating ramen since I have a cold. I thought about eating ramen earlier, but I honestly, I think that I'm about to have to do like a full really figuring out what my food problems are issue, because I've been having like either intestinal or period cramps. I can't tell what they are. Like every morning almost right now. Like I wake up, everybody, you wake up and take your morning shit, right? Basically everybody, lots of people wake up and you take your morning shit. I still end up cramping for like hours in the morning. And it's really frustrating. So I'm going to have to like figure out, okay, what foods are triggering this cramping, which foods are potentially triggering my heart palpitations, because carb loading can do that. Watch out for gallstones. I had those last year and had to get my gallbladder removed. Yeah, the gallstones are a thing if you eat lots of really greasy food, and I have not been too bad about that. I don't have pain in the area that gallstones are. Like gallbladder pain is like here, and I never have pain over there. All of my pain is in like the lower, like in places where it could be mistaken for period pains. But one of my younger siblings did have to have a gallbladder removal, so I'm trying to be aware. Rainbows come out of me each morning. I've actually had fewer digestive problems than ever since I've been on MREs. Most people get sick on them. I got a lot better. Yeah, I gotta be honest, Mersh, if you send me MREs, I don't know that I will eat them. Like, I mean, I might eat them for the purposes of a YouTube video, where it's like, oh, let's see what's the of the few MREs that I have, which one tastes the best and which one is super nasty, and like make a game of it or something. Because they don't have a reputation for being delicious, right? I get that too, especially on my left side. It triggers my health anxiety. Right, like why does it feel like I'm being stabbed in my left ovary? Like it's really, like that's really where it was earlier today. It fucking sucked. Progesterone can worsen gallstones. Oh, I'm sorry. That's spoopy. And it's really hard for me to tell if I have cramps because of my IUD or if I have cramps because I have like intestinal issues. It's weird. My stuff already stopped after only a month of E-blockers. I have never been on E-blockers before. I was considering maybe a low dose. Twisted ovaries? What is twisted ovaries? What? Twisted bowel? Yeah, I don't know. It's a very strange sensation. But I would, yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, I drink a little bit more water. A combination of PPIs and progesterone is what cost me mine. So are there several people in chat here who are saying that, like, you've had your gallbladder removed? I was watching an episode of Good Mythical Morning recently, and then it switched over to the Good Mythical More, and they were like, these are some products that are banned in other countries. Like, these are American products which are banned in other countries. And that freaked me out a little bit because I'm like, okay, so cottonseed oil, for example, which is known to cause cardiovascular issues, is used in Ritz crackers. So Ritz crackers are... Why would it's like in my ovary area. Why would I need a cold? I don't know. Ritz are mid. I just like how buttery they are. But I'm like, yeah, so I'm like, I had not even thought about the idea that I would need to, excuse me, stop eating Ritz crackers. They're so yummy. I'm gonna have a French MRE for Easter and Passover. Nice. So much US food things are banned over here. It's actually incredible. Sprinkles, I learned. Sprinkles. That was I read like a whole thing about how some baker was pissed off because the sprinkles that they were using were American and they got dinged like by the UK government. Shade, thank you so much for the tier 2 sub. I really appreciate that. That is really kind of you. Hell yeah. It's February. I know it's a weird time of year, so no worries to all you folks who haven't donated ever, haven't donated this month. No worries at all. Americans have the actual worst food, apparently. Speaking of snacks, y'all know what veggie straws are? I found out recently that they come in ranch flavor and they're amazing. You know what else I learned about veggie straws is that they are still like 95% potato. Like it's still basically just a fucking potato chip. They do not have they have a minuscule amount of the other vegetables that they're supposed to have in them. The additives that we put in our food is part of what causes Americans to have an obesity epidemic. It's it's literally hard to find any food that isn't packed with a bunch of additives and bullshit that make it have extra calories. Right, then again, think about how long it took them to ban asbestos when they knew it could cause problems when disturbed for years. I have lived in places recently that had asbestos ceilings, and I'm like, I get it. It's basically fine if it's undisturbed, but why is it not required to update your buildings? Why is it not required? If you have asbestos in the ceiling or on the ceiling, the popcorn, just fucking fix it. Just fix it. I hate when work distracts me from stream. We were talking about food and then come back and it's asbestos. What a segue. It's true. Hello, Anjali. All rice, beans, grains, legumes, fruits, and veggies. Okay, so here's the thing about rice, though. You can't buy rice that was grown in America because rice that's grown in America often has fucking arsenic in it. because rice, it kind of absorbs a lot of the stuff in the soil, and in like southern United States where rice is grown, they have a lot of arsenic in the soil, and you have to the only way to make your rice safe is you have to always cook it as though you're boiling pasta. And I know that that's like not a lot of people's preferred way. A lot of people prefer to cook their rice in like a rice cooker with like a very small amount of water comparatively. But like the only safe way to cook rice that has arsenic in it is to boil it like pasta. I live in an arsenic fallout zone. Yeah, Dizzy, I saw you tweeting about how you couldn't dig around in the dirt or something in the area where you grew up. I buy mine grown in India, basmati rice. Yeah, yes, get your rice internationally. It's frustrating that we're supposed to trust these untrustworthy people and companies. It's still wild to me that, you know what? This is a great time to segue. We're going to segue. I'm going to open up my links and we're going to segue over. It is super crazy that we cannot trust these corporations that are supposed to be taking care of us. It's crazy to me that things have to happen like wide scale. A lot of people have to get hurt before it even really matters. Like any action is going to actually be taken. Yeah, get on your impractical scooters because it's time for a segue. Yeah, Arkansas is one. Yeah, Arkansas, you have a lot of arsenic in your soil. You gotta be mindful of that. It's crazy to me that society decided to trust corporations in the first place. Okay, so welcome to America, where we are a country that is basically run by a bunch of corporations. Like our government is just a bunch of corporations in a trench coat. And we know this because it's just so obvious that they are poisoning us and they don't care. We've had multiple train derailments. You know, there was the one high profile one. And then because there was one high profile one, now there's more stories of all these train derailments happening all over the place. Hit like on the stream if you've heard of at least one other train derailment besides the one in Ohio in the past couple of days or in the past week or so. It's getting crazy out there. The United States government is basically just run by a bunch of corporations who are trying to constantly prioritize their profits. So we have situations like you can't eat rice that was grown in Arkansas because there's probably a bunch of arsenic in it. So, you know, if you do buy American grown rice, make sure you cook it like you're cooking pasta, no matter how much you hate the texture of that, because that's the only way that you're going to have safe rice. It is crazy to me that they have to do such wide-scale harm before anything is done about it. And even when something is done about it, it's like, oh, little slap on the wrist, little fine, just a little fine. No one gets arrested. No one goes to jail. And I don't get it. And like, this is continuing on. The poisoning of American citizens is just going to keep getting worse. Americans don't have much choice. It's capitalism at its worst. The corporations have more rights than the people. It's getting to be ridiculous. And more and more of these events keep happening. So breaking news as of, a week ago, massive 5-acre fire has broken out at a warehouse storing plastic plant pots in Kissimmee, Florida. Hazmat teams are monitoring air quality due to the large amount of smoke coming from the burning plastics. Residents with breathing issues should remain indoors. Is there sound on this? Make sure there's no sound on this. I don't want sound on this. So this is just an entire warehouse that caught on fire, and it's a bunch of plastics burning in there. So this like thick black smoke is the smoke of... This is like this warehouse was storing the plastic pots. So presumably there's not chemicals in here that are used in the production of plastics, but this is just burning plastics, and just the plastics are just in the air, being breathed everywhere. We have more and more train derailments happening, breaking as of earlier this week. A train carrying coal has derailed in Nebraska. A dozen cars are off the track, and a hazmat team has been sent to the site. The train is run by Union Pacific, and this is reportedly the third derailment at this exact spot in the last 6 months. So when they were saying before, like, oh, these railroad workers are striking because they're upset that they didn't get enough sick time. Like, first of all, you should have the dignity of getting an appropriate amount of sick time from your job. And it's really stupid that that was what they tried to spin it as. Lots of millennials and Gen Zers are like, they look at things like they're striking over working conditions because they don't have enough sick time. And we go, yeah, why don't they have enough sick time? And meanwhile, boomers are like, back in my day, uphill both ways in the snow, whatever. But no, it's like they were striking over safety. Like, first of all, being overworked is unsafe conditions, but also the fact that there have been 3 derailments in the past 6 months at one particular spot indicates that they have a structural, like, it's across the whole system. It's across the whole company. It's across every company. They're cutting on their safety and just letting this shit happen. Yeah, friendly reminder that these companies have cut thousands of jobs while raking in billions and lobbying for deregulation. There is no conspiracy other than corporate greed. A lot of people feel like, oh, what's happening here? Folks feel like, oh, something like, who's doing this? Something is happening. And yeah, what's happening is that deregulation has been occurring. People are thinking like, oh, someone is setting all these places on fire on purpose. Like, someone is attacking the United States government. They're coming to get you. It's just deregulation. This is the natural product of decades of corporate power being accumulated and not updating their systems, like slowly chipping away at the laws that require them to have safety systems in place in the first place. Oh, yeah, that's true. It's not even that they weren't getting enough sick time. It's that they were getting punished for taking unpaid sick days. Yeah, just like any time that they were taking off, they were being penalized for, which is wild. Yeah, they won't do anything about COVID, so you're telling me America is just unsafe for people with health conditions? Always has been. The chemicals that can turn fish and frogs intersex is metformin and bisphenol A, which is found in plastic bottles, etc. Oh yeah, all about the freedom to breathe in raw plastic and bask in acid rain, for sure. They are no longer forced to be careful or even care at all. Like, why is there not more of a public response to this? Like, here's my question. What happens if the town gets together? Like, what if a bunch of neighbors get together and they have a meeting and they go, so this one guy is the owner of this company in this area, or like he was in charge in this area when this big accident happened. So we've all decided that this is bullshit and that this person is not going to be charged for anything. They might get a fee, but we've decided that the poisoning of our children for the next 4 generations is actually worth more than a pittance of $25,000 to the entire community, which is what the company offered the community of East Palestine in Ohio. What if a bunch of people just very politely go to, I don't know, City Hall or something, and they say, hey, so here's the thing. This person is responsible for giving our children cancer for the next 3 fucking generations. So we are very politely asking you to either charge them for murder, as is appropriate, or we will take them from you and do as we see fit. Like, why? I keep wondering about this, like, with, like, cops who commit horrible, like, murders in their community. Like, why are we not showing up at their houses and, like, just, you know, repossessing all of the things that they've bought with their ill-gotten wealth? If you're a cop who has hurt people in the line of duty, especially unnecessarily, like, why are you allowed to keep the things that you bought with your disgusting blood money? Like, why are we not actually doing something? And along that line of thinking, I would like to introduce you to Greta Thunberg. Repossessing the scrotums of the bourgeois. True. Oh my God, come here. Oh, Greta. Greta is, she's part of Gen Z, and she's gonna lead the world, I think, someday. Like, she might be president of Earth. My fellow Earthicans, let's talk about Greta. What are the volumes like right now?
And etc. So we need to think outside.
Okay, yeah, she's loud enough. Okay, cool. So we're gonna listen to Greta, you know, saying the things that we all are thinking. Everyone's thinking it, but she's saying it. Pirates. She's 20 years old. She recently turned 20 last month. All right, Greta, take us home. Tell us how it is.
I feel like I want to, in the future, be able to look back and say that I did everything I could in this time when we were experiencing an accelerating climate crisis and when we still could avoid the worst consequences of it. We must remember that if we want to see real changes, we can't. If we look through history, if people who were advocating for example, social justice, if they had only used the legal methods, then we wouldn't be where we are today, for example, when it comes to racial rights and women's voting and etc. So we need to think outside the box because this is an existential crisis.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. There it is. Greta out there saying the things that we're all thinking, like, and it's true. Like, we have been experiencing an ongoing climate crisis for years now. Like, Greta was how old? Like 15, maybe younger, when she became like a household name for her passionate speeches about how, like, her childhood had been stolen from her, that, like, she, like, was experiencing a major mental health crisis because of essentially the idea that she would not have a future, and, like, she would not be able to have, like, to bring children into the world who would live to adulthood. It's so fucking scary to live in this universe. And, like, I go back and rewatch this video from Philosophy Tube pretty often. It's the one called Violence, or it's like called Violence and Protest or something like that. And one of the philosophers that Abigail quotes in that video is asking the question of, like, is it moral? Like, okay, so first of all, it's really interesting because environmental justice is kind of uniquely nonviolent compared to lots of other kinds of protest. Like, people who do eco-protesting, it's crazy how nonviolent they are, especially if you look at the thing that they're up against. Like, the existential threat of climate change and of environmental destruction is so great that it's quite remarkable that we haven't had a more violent retaliation. And an important question, I think, to ask ourselves, which, like I said, Abigail was citing another philosopher in her video, who basically is asking, like, is it moral that we have waited so long to take that extra step, like to move from the legally prescribed, oh, if you protest, fine, you can protest, but you can only protest in this way so that it's not actually disruptive. And like, so if you actually start to become disruptive with your climate justice protesting and activism, you know, that it seems like the only way to actually make any change here. Like, what actions are not justified if the survival of the entire planet is what's at risk, you know? Yeah, don't you look forward to living in the tinted plastic bubbles that they're gonna stretch all over the cities and the roads? Aren't you so excited about the prospect of having to buy a can of fresh air? If you can't disrupt, what's the point? Yeah, I mean, ultimately, protest is a thing that the government allows you to do so that you can let off steam in a way that doesn't actually challenge the status quo. Protests are great because they are super easy to ignore. You have to actually, like, you know, something that, you know, I like learning a little bit about American history. One of the cool things about American history is that, like, for example, when unions were in the process of forming, and when these factory owners were abusing their workers and exploiting them and making them work 7 days a week and 12-hour days in the mines, and they were forcing 6-year-old kids to crawl down in the mine shafts and stuff, like, they would just show up to a person's house and dismantle it board by board. Like, oh, you're screwing over the community? Guess what? You don't have a house anymore. I think personally that nowadays, I think I would rather just expropriate the property and still have a standing home for someone to live in. But ultimately, like, why the fuck are we not showing up at people's houses and saying, hey, you're not in ownership of a home anymore? Protesters in America can be charged for damage and lost revenue. I've known too many protesters financially ruined by the courts for nonviolent protest, and they will charge you as a terrorist. And they've made it some moves to try to make it explicitly illegal in some places it's like, it's legal to hit a protester with your car, basically. Oh, is this Indiana? Oh, weird. I hadn't looked into this yet. I don't think I had even heard about this yet. I'll have to read more of it later. If you go to their houses at all just to flip the bird, J.K. Rowling will say you're doxing them. True. Because the right would use that for nefarious means. Okay, Dark Canuck, I'm not saying, like, let's make it legal for places to, like, I mean, yeah, like, I think what I'm saying is that, like, the system is not working and it needs to be destroyed. And one of the ways that we are going to need to destroy it is by being like, hey, so you know how you're doing something really fucked up and no one's holding you accountable? Well, we as a community have come together and we've decided that you are going to be held accountable. Like, the level of intensity that I experience in my body while I have to talk about this shit like a normal fucking human being and, like, be within TOS is, it's like it's a superhuman feat of restraint on my part some days. Like, I don't know, like, I'm gonna fucking lose it one of these days, I think, is what we're gonna do. Yeah, and also the right does do that. They already bring guns and barge into drag shows. The tension must be amazing. It doesn't really feel great. It's like the sensation of, like, I need to be able to physically tear this building apart with my bare fucking hands, and I can't do that physically. So it's tough. It's tough. Death to fascism. Self-defense is justified violence. It's like every single thing that we could do, the right could do also, and like they are already doing it. Like we do the opposite thing where like the right is doing a lot of fucked up shit and we don't think to ourselves, We think to ourselves, like, people say things like, they go low, we go high. And I'm like, how about they go low, we go lower, motherfucker? Everybody should be glad that I'm too disabled to go out and do anything. Although I'm gonna get fucking yoked this year. Y'all, I'm truly so excited. Like nothing is better for your self-defense and stuff than being yoked. I've actually also heard recently, and I haven't looked into it into very much detail, but I've heard recently that apparently there are like, it's like a crazy correlation between strength and like long life. Like, I don't know I don't know if there's a causal effect there, but it just seems like apparently there's a really strong correlation between being just like a physically strong person and also having like positive health outcomes, which I guess it could mean, you know, if you're a really strong person, then you're probably well fed and you're probably also doing a lot of things besides just lifting weights in order to be physically healthy. Like, you're probably also doing cardio, which a lot of people don't do cardio. Cardio is one thing that I really do need to start doing. I've been doing my calisthenics and I'm going to start lifting soon, but I really do need to do like, I really need to do some cardio. That's what the hiking is for. I think that's the hiking. I'm going to end up doing a lot of hiking here soon. I should do some challenging hiking. That sounds so fun. Oh my God. I'm going to become a fucking insane person this year. I'm going to be outside constantly, and I'm really excited about it. I'm like rediscovering a love of going outside and doing shit. You can't actually be really strong without eating lots, and eating lots but not too much actually makes you way healthier and live longer. Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, if you're trying to get stronger, you're probably, yeah, not only are you eating a lot, but you're also like probably paying attention to what you eat, and you're making sure to get lots of protein, and you're probably getting some vegetables and things. Anjali says, the right organizes, whereas we in the LGBT community fail to organize. Instead, we cancel Keffels for saying the R word. We let the woke scolds rule the day on Twitter discourse. Nothing substantive. All I can do is make sure the protected swamp on my farm is never severed and test the creek water once a month. I'm disabled, so it's the best I can do. Right, it's frustrating. I'm an agitator. I'm a political agitator. That's my job. That's one of the things that I'm meant to do here. That's what God put me on this earth for, is to be a political agitator. I've been going on walks for cardio, but it's been getting hot again already. We're hitting 85 plus degrees and it's still February. You just gotta go real early in the morning. My suggestion would be to just do it before the sun is high in the sky. That's what I was doing last summer. I had to go for walks like at 9 or 10 in the morning, or I couldn't go at all. It was 80 here today as well. Oh my God. I thought that it was getting warm here. Like, it's Kansas and it's fucking February and it's been in the 50s and 60s sometimes, which feels like a lot. But man, y'all who it's already in the 80s, it's going to be like 120 degrees where you live this summer. Getting up early was my biggest obstacle. I've only been able to be consistent because it was winter. Yeah, that's fair. I will say, here's a little tip from me to you all. I think that it's really beneficial to get your shit started early in the morning. I have been trying this new schedule where I'm like, I get up in the morning and I make my coffee, and then I get into doing my editing work early in the day, like early. If I spend too long making my coffee, it'll fuck my day up and I won't get enough editing done. Like, I'm really behind on editing right now. And Yeah, so honestly, like my recommendation for stuff that you find difficult to do is just do it as early in the day as humanly possible. Oh my God, high of 88 today with 67% humidity. Yeah, we love the global climate crisis. I'm at work at 7, so unfortunately, Sag. I mean, it works the same when you get home. Like when you get home from work, if you're like, I need to start exercising, you got to just do it as soon as you get home. Like carry that momentum from work. Don't sit down just don't sit on the couch. Do not sit down. I wake up at 5:30 or 6 to work out before my makeup routine and curling my hair. See, that seems a little superhuman to me, but or I can sit on a comfy chair with a cat and be unhealthy. That's true. That's your God-given right. Oh, that's cool, Dark Canuck. You have some protected land, like some land that has been deemed by the provincial government as environmentally protected land. That's cool. I also don't sleep well. Oof, that's rough. I apologize, Shade. Like, I'm sorry to hear that. I apologize that God has graced you with an inability to sleep. It means you got more time to do stuff, though, I guess. Yeah, as an American, it is my right to slowly kill myself through laziness. Daggone it. It's my right to eat unhealthy food and die of a sudden heart attack. Someone on my fucking Facebook sent me a, or no, they didn't send it to me. They just shared it on their profile. Someone I follow on Facebook shared a video of a doctor very clearly who was talking about, like, I've had a lot of I've heard of and I've had a lot of patients who just suddenly died from cardiac events, and like, oh, you know, we need to be asking what's different in these last couple days. And he was just very clearly, he was talking about vaccines, like the COVID vax, without actually saying COVID vax. And I was like, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've seen. Like, imagine talking about the COVID vaccine and like, I think I commented on it and was like, yeah, this guy should have some of his OBGYN friends show him the placentas from like women, like COVID affected women who've given birth to a stillbirth, and like check out the pictures of their fucking, actually, like, seriously, it's not pretty. So if you're in my chat and you're just now hearing about this, like that COVID damages the placenta in a way that kills fetuses, the pictures are gnarly, to be clear. Today, it got up to 77 degrees in Virginia today. Actually turned on the air conditioner in my car driving home this afternoon after work. It's a placenta. It's gnarly, period. I mean, that's true. But like, even if you take the cross section of a healthy placenta and a cross section of a COVID affected placenta, it's like upsetting. And if you're looking up pictures of placentas and you're Googling things like placenta COVID stillbirth, you might end up accidentally coming up with a photo of a stillbirth baby, so be careful. I've held a cat placenta in my hand. It's a trip. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I'm like fantasizing about my next pet. Like the next time I get a cat. I have no idea if my partner and I are going to move back in together. Like I literally have no guess at this point as to whether that's going to work out or not. So like he kept the cat. I asked him to keep the cat because it was his idea to get that cat in the first place. And I was just like, if I move into an apartment right now, it'll be a lot easier to find a place to live if I don't have a cat. But I'm thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? It would be cool if I were to like adopt a cat, because I usually don't adopt a cat. Normally I end up in a situation where there just is a pregnant cat and I end up with a cat, you know? But I also really like that aspect of things where you like know someone whose cat got knocked up, and so you like go over and visit and then you end up going home with a cat. Like, I like that conceptually, but it's the right thing to do if you can. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to get an older cat, because then you're just inviting into your life the prospect of like your animal dying every 2 years or so. Like you get a cat that's like 15 years old and you're like, oh, I'm going to give this cat a good life. And then it fucking has a bunch of expensive health issues and dies in a short time. And then you have to pay for the fucking cremation every couple of years. And then you've got like a bunch of cats that you're like, am I going to keep all these ashes? I only had the cat for 2 years. Am I going to keep its ashes or am I going to like not? Oh my God, your phrasing of this decoy duck just fucking sent me. My cat had a stillbirth baby while sitting on my lap when I was a kid. Learned a lot that day. Oh God. You learned about life and death that day. Oh my God. It's like, I'm sure it might have been very upsetting at the time. It's just the way that you phrased that was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you learned a lot that day. That's very funny. The pets need a home too. I know. It's like, it's such a, but it's like the kittens need a home too, or they're going to euthanize the kittens. Oh, Bobby says that they're about to adopt 2 kitties. Yes. Or she is about to adopt 2 kitties. Sorry, I didn't look at the pronouns thing. Lux, now you see how society views old people? I mean, yeah. Wait. It's not like it's not like you bring an old person into your home. Like, yes, I understand. Yes, I mean, you're not wrong. Old people cost more to keep alive. But, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess you're not wrong. There's ageism. My husky is adopted. She's a handful. I would never have a husky. Oh my God, I would never have a husky. Hey, Cheez-It, welcome in. Good to see you. Might not stay for long. No worries. We appreciate you dropping by. Make sure to hit the like button before you go. Oh, wow. I took care of a stray cat that I had named Smokey while I lived in Alabama. She got pregnant and I took care of her, and then she came to me during labor and birthed her babies in the carport where I was living, and the bitsies were literally born into my hands. I've never had that. Oh, is the husky why you don't sleep well? Oh, that sucks. I adopted an 8-year-old cat, and she's 11 and has cancer now. We had it removed along with her ear, but it might still be there, and we can't afford chemo. Unfortunately, universal healthcare doesn't cover pets. Right. You have to have pet insurance, which is like $100 a month or something. And it's like, I wish I could afford insurance for myself, much less my cat. My husky is whining at me because she's mad that I stored her away in her crate to vacuum. Is she the kind of dog that like barks at the vacuum and like tries to bite it? Huskies are such fucking energetic animals. They're so weird. I feel like, so Demon Mama has made a point on Twitter, and I think that this is a really good point that Demon Mama has made on Twitter. 2023 Twitter is being held up by trans e-girls saying arf and moo. True. Pydradig, congrats on your new job. You just got hired? Fuck yes. High fives. Congratulations. I hope that you're able to buy yourself something nice with your first paycheck. Even if it's just a little like piece of candy or something, you know? Excuse me. She thinks the hose attachment is great fun, but she fears the machine itself. Oh my God, excuse me. I've seen pet grooming videos of huskies, and the only thing they do is cry loudly. They go, that's what huskies do when you're trying to give them a pets. Not pets, when you're trying to wash them. and their toenails. Yet, I don't want any animals that need to regularly be taken to someone to do a thing to them. I don't want an animal that needs to be taken to the groomer. I don't want an animal that needs to, like, I need to go to the vet in order to have their nails cut. Like, nope. I'm gonna trim my own cat's nails. I'm gonna brush my own cat. If it has a health problem, I will take it to the vet, you know? Beef pot pie, oh my gosh. I have no idea what I'm gonna eat after stream. I have not thought that far ahead. I think this is part of my problem. I need to start actually thinking ahead about what food I need to eat ahead of time, instead of just at the last minute wandering into the kitchen like, I'm hungry. I want to eat something. And then the only thing that I have to eat is, like, some bullshit that, like, I want to just grab it and put it in my mouth immediately. Yeah, trans bunny boy. True. I think someone at some point said that dogs were less money over their course of their lifetime than cats. And someone said because of, like, cat litter. I'm like, that's true. But also, like, I don't ever have to have my cat groomed. This is actually why I'm really excited about Mossy. She's short-coated, so I can groom her all by myself. It means if I ever move out, I can care for her. My boys are too fluffy for me to keep up with. That's cool. I'm excited that you have a dog that you would be able to take care of. Dogs have to go get groomed. Certain breeds need, like, to have their undercoat removed when you're leaving the winter. And they get dirty and stuff, you know. And also, like, it can be kind of hard to maintain their nails without hurting them. Like, with some dogs, it's really easy to accidentally cut their nails too short and, like, hurt them and make them bleed. So... gosh, my throat. Delicious. Well, yeah, hail the hydration. What do we have next? We talked about Greta Thunberg. Brushing my husky is annoying and very bad if I don't. Vacuuming every 2 days sucks, pun intended. True. Got floofy dogs. Got some floofy puppers. I really should get a macro lens for my phone so that I can take pictures of my bugs. I can, like, bring you my bugs and show them to you, but it's not quite the same. Cat nails are transparent. You can see the vein. On a black cat, it is kind of hard to tell where the quick is because the quick itself is like a gray color instead of like a pinkish color. It's real weird. Bugs. I gotta take more bugs pictures. It's hard to take pictures of my bugs when I open the thing right now and just fungus gnats come flying out everywhere. Okay, so... shall we actually talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene at some point today? So we got that and we got Ethan Schmidt. You remember that guy who was, like, bitching about the rainbow signage in a, in, like, a Petco or whatever? He also did some stupid shit in a Target, I guess, a couple years ago, and the video is just circulating on Twitter again, so I wanted to make fun of him. So what we have left is we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we have the Ethan Schmidt, and I did add to my notes there's an anti-drag bill that just passed in Tennessee, but I kind of feel like maybe I don't want to do coverage of legislation tonight. Whenever I hear Greta, I think Greta Van Fleet. I usually think of Greta Christina, who is a writer and an author that I have been acquainted with for a number of years. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Target Man, and then Smuggy. Look, we all follow Aaron and Alejandra. I think we can skip the Bill shit. I mean, it's important to cover it because folks on, like I was saying way earlier in stream, the YouTube audience and the Twitter audience are not the same, especially now that people are leaving Twitter. So it is still important to cover the legislative news, but I'm just easing back into talking about politics after like a week and a half of having my PTSD just fucking spiked all over the place. So we're easing back into it. Yes, there's the YouTubes, exactly. Decoy Duck doesn't even have Twitter. Ooh, it's time for the antihistamines. I'm actually thinking about going back on low-dose tea. Just like for a couple of, like maybe even trying the lowest dose of tea that I've ever been on, just to sort of help with something. Like maybe it'll help my cramps settle down or something. I don't know. Yeah, honestly, don't go to Twitter. It's just not a good place to be. Okay, but I've been drinking lots of water, and I am going to get some more water. But also, because I've been drinking lots of water, I need to pee. So I am going to go do that, and I will be back in a few minutes. And while I'm gone, you should grab a drink and hit the like button if you haven't already. And we will talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene when I get back. Okay. I'm back now. Oh, gosh. Yeah, it streams 20-hour days and 9 days a week. Should I just do a straight-up parody? I have to ask Gayfesh and Demon Mama for permission. If I was to do just a straight-up parody of the Demon Mama bathroom song, I would for sure would need both of their permission. But it would be funny. Needed more energy, so I got a T-gel microdose also to relate to people who transitioned that way. It's interesting. I went on testosterone initially and was like, yes, I want to masculinize to a certain degree. And then I started to get dysphoric over fat redistribution because I liked my voice and stuff, but I didn't like the body fat redistribution. And then as I started to like normalize back on estrogen, I was like, oh, this is how my trans women friends talk about this. Like it felt really good to be like, I can understand when they're talking about their skin, like softening as they go from testosterone to estrogen. Like, oh, now I know what they're talking about. Like, oh, my skin feels so much softer. Hey, Anansi. No worries, no worries. Later than Rush Limbaugh. Lux retransitioning. I don't, like, these words don't feel like they apply to me at all. It's really interesting. You all know Support Dtrans, at Support Dtrans on Twitter. She is great. It's so interesting because, like I have quit hormones a couple times, but I do not feel at any point like I have detransitioned or retransitioned. I mean, it just feels like it feels like a continuation of my transition, that, like, quitting taking tea is just as big of a decision as starting taking tea, in the sense that it is a transition choice. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, I'm non-binary, so of course it makes sense that I'm trying to, like, I'm not trying to, but like, that my feelings would naturally end up in this place where I am just sort of doing this in between the two, drifting back and forth a little bit to try to keep things like, and so over the course of a long enough timeline, small movements like this looks like a straight line, you know? When I go on tea, I reckon I'll just stay on it unless I have to get off for any reason, or unless I start balding because I'd look weird bald. You can always get finasteride, Super Dr. Hulock. I would not recommend getting it right off the bat because it can slow certain aspects of your transition down. But if you start to lose your hair, you can always get finasteride. And use minoxidil, yes. Well, be careful with minoxidil if you have cats, especially. For sure, it's toxic, so be careful. Oh my gosh. You only need to do male puberty once, then you become a super athlete and can destroy sports as we know it. Doing it multiple times, Lux will certainly become something terrifying. I will be benevolent, okay? Listen. I will be benevolent. My dad's not gone bald. It's both sides of your family, Dizzy. The genes for baldness are carried on the X chromosome, so under the assumption that you have two of them, you would have to look to the both sides of the family to determine if it was going to be a problem for you. Calling it detrans only works if you think of transition as a movement across a binary line rather than a journey forward into your truest gendered self. That's very true. I remember there being a Nutois blogger who deliberately cycled on and off tea with the guidance of their based endocrinologist. Yeah, I'm sure if I texted my doctor and was like, hey, I want to go back on a low-dose tea, can you go ahead and prescribe that? He would be like, cool, what dose do you want? And, like, I'm going to order some blood tests so that you can figure out what your levels are and shit, you know? I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even really care about getting my blood levels tested. If I know what my blood levels were on a higher dose, if I started on a lower dose, I would just be like, meh, whatever. I don't even know that I would bother to pay and spend the time to go get my blood tested. Is it true that coming on and off can cause health problems, or is that just transmed propaganda? I mean, what health problems would there be? Like, what do people say happens? Because the only health issues that I have heard of in conjunction with hormone levels is that if you don't have enough hormone levels in your body, that can cause, like, osteoporosis and brain fog and, like, generally, and, like, depression. It's, like, generally not a very good time, like, low energy and fatigue. But as far as, like, changing hormones back and forth, like, I don't really see why that would hurt you. Like, if going on them if going through puberty in the first place doesn't hurt you, and going on cross-sex hormones also doesn't really hurt you, it changes your risk of cardiovascular disease probably, like, back and forth, but not, like, permanently increasing it. I don't know. As an autistic person who rages against the machine, I just want a place to throw shit and break shit. Oh, Andy's there. You can go to a rec room. Go to rec room. Well, yeah, true. I mean, yes, going through puberty can be hurtful in that sense, Dizzy, of course. But, like, it's not causing you, like, permanent health problems. In the sense that, like, oh, going through puberty gave you a permanent increased risk of heart disease. They have, like, businesses now where you can just go and, like, pay a fee and just break a bunch of shit. Delicious water. Water is so good. I've never been to a rec room, but I would kind of like to. Hell of a birthday present that would be. Oh, gosh. I wonder if I should find out if there's a rec room that I could pay for to go to my birthday. Has cheeseburger. Ooh. Oh, yeah, shoot. I decided I was going to eat spaghetti, so I'm going to grab the, I'm going to just get the meat out of the freezer really quick, and I'll be back in a second. I'll be back so quick, you won't even know that I've been gone. Ah! Okay. I got the beef out of the freezer. Hopefully by the time I'm ready to eat it, it will be warm. Oh, yes. Every day I wake up and think, do I get to throw things today? And the answer is no, and it saddens me. You know, sometimes you just need to throw a little temper tantrum and throw some paperwork around, because, like, paperwork is not going to hurt anything to throw around. I asked my friends to plan my 40th birthday party in June this year, so I don't accidentally wear myself out and miss the fun. My plan for my birthday so far this year, I have decided that I'm gonna try to make a reservation if I can for, like, a private room at this restaurant that I really used to love going to when I was a kid, and I might. It's entirely possible that I will just eat dinner silently in a room by myself, like in a private room by myself on my birthday or around my birthday. Maybe not exactly on that day of the week, but I am psyched about that. And I also thought about maybe going to like a botanical garden or something, just like around that time. Maybe not, again, perhaps not on the actual day of my birthday. Although maybe I will. Maybe fuck it. Maybe I will do a whole thing on my actual birthday. I go out to the swamp and yell at trees, then I apologize and hug them. I'm really so excited about starting to camp, y'all. As soon as I have even the most basic gear, like I need a tent and I need some basics about having a place to sleep, and that's literally it. And then I will be ready to go camping. I'm so excited. I'm going to be such a fucking nerd this year. I'm so excited to become a fucking nerd. But we just had a few people come in. If you have not yet hit the like button, consider hitting the like button, because I'm finally going to get around to talking about fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm finally getting back around to it. I need to start camping again too. Listen, if anybody in the chat has any old camping gear that they want to get rid of, I have a P.O. box now. And if you DM me preferably on Discord, I'll give you the P.O. box number. It's not going to be public, the P.O. box number, for my privacy. But if you have some camping gear that you want to get rid of, holy shit, please send it to me. Welcome back, Cheese It Furball. Bear spray, good for bears, drunks, and turfs. I mean, I don't think that you're really legally supposed to use bear spray on human beings, right? Oh, gosh. Okay. Okay. What does bear spray do? It's like pepper spray, but it's way stronger. Oh my gosh. My usual birthday thing was to invite all my friends to a board game night. I'd send out like 10 invites and maybe 2 to 3 people would come. After I transitioned and lost friends but gained some new friends, I did that and all 10 showed up last year. I needed more snacks. Oh no. Would you ever do foraging, or would you be too scared to get it wrong and accidentally poison yourself? I would love to forage. Oh my God. I have a mushroom identification book on one of my Amazon wish lists, which like I'm just gonna it's !wish, but I don't have it set up in the YouTube chat yet. So I'm just gonna copy paste it. But like, these are all 3 of my wish lists. And oh, wait, hold on. Too many lines of text. I gotta reduce the number of lines of text. Okay, there we go. Cause I have like a mushroom identification book on there, which means that like I also would like to learn how to identify trees. We know what you're really gonna use that book for. Listen. Foraging is great. I love eating shit that I pick off of a bush. I have never personally found any morel mushrooms in the wild. I don't think that we have, but my partner has brought home morel mushrooms that he foraged, and we have eaten them because it is very easy to identify morels. Like, it's pretty much impossible to fuck up and eat a false morel if what you are looking for is a morel mushroom. Like, Virginia has some very deadly mushrooms with no antidote. I know. Like, we already talked about this like earlier last week about my favorite mushroom. Like my favorite, my best boy, the best boy, my favoritist boy. This weird little goopy guy, my favorite, my absolute favorite. Look at the gills on that bitch. Impressive. Just stellar. What an incredible specimen. What a unit. What a unit. That mushroom is canonically NB. Exactly. Oh, you don't want to lick it. It's so goopy. Blah. It's so goopy. It's not even known whether it's poisonous because it's so repellent in its goopiness that they haven't even tested it. Yeah, no, this is not a mushroom that is my favorite because I want to eat it. It's my favorite mushroom because it looks really cool. Oh, that's nice, Dizzy. I love them. They're so cute. I think that I would like to get, I think that my first nice shaded artistic tattoo that I'm going to have to go for 2 sessions for, it's going to be a picture of those mushrooms. I want to eat a puffball mushroom so bad. Are those ones that you're allowed to eat? Oh, God. Goop off that mushroom versus hagfish. Oh, no. You all kept saying that last time. Me want plant corn dog, delight. Is that what you're doing, Deez? Ah, I did it. I knew what you were doing. I knew it. Me think water, Twinkie, nice. That was a great TikTok. I loved that video. Yeah. Technically, any mushroom is edible once. Fuck. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, hagfish look gross. Like, that goop looks really gross. That actually made me want to throw up a little bit looking at that goop. It was not a good goop. He has a whole series of these songs. That was the only one that I saw. It made its way onto Twitter, or on Facebook, maybe. Anything is edible if you want it enough. I mean, certain kinds of metal would probably, like, cut up your mouth a little. Not a good goop. There's good goop, and then there's bad goop. Oh my God, my ears are so itchy. Okay, we've been going for almost 3 hours now. Remember how tired I was at the beginning of the stream? I'm feeling better now. I believe young puffballs are edible as long as they are cooked, but I would look it up. Yeah, basically most of these mushrooms, even if they're edible, are edible primarily after you cook them. Like, generally speaking, don't eat raw mushrooms. Generally. Listen, mama, listen. With the Keffels thing recently, you can't... You can't do that. Vegan mushroom risotto. I don't eat mushrooms very much. I really should, though, because they have like that meaty texture, and they're probably really good for and they're probably good for like all kinds of nutrients and stuff. Yeah, cocaine in this economy, that like cocaine is like a fucking rich person drug for sure. Where did I pick up? Yeah, is that what Keffels was accused of doing? Is like she was accused of doing cocaine specifically? I actually called into the Transatlantic Call-In show today to kind of talk about the Keffels thing. How did that go? I still need to get back in touch with Jimmy about potentially doing a guest spot on the Transatlantic show. I've just been really horrendous about not getting to my DMs lately. So I think that I've left Jimmy on red for like a few weeks now. Yeah, don't do cocaine, kids. Just do not. Do not. I am the absolute worst at DMs. I would bet that I am at least as bad as you, Starsona. Also, what's it up? I think you'd be great on Transatlantic. I think I would be good at it. Yeah. I didn't mention it specifically. We talked about infighting in the trans community. Arden is my parasocial crush. Is that the med student or the about to not be a med student? There haven't been any NB hosts on the show. Really, the entire time they've had the show, they've never had an NB host. Well, I would feel good if it was me. Oh, that's student Dr. Ben. Okay, I don't know many of the hosts on there. Arden is Matt Dillahunty's girlfriend. What the fuck? Have you had bottom surgery? I'm sorry, that's disrespectful. Let me rephrase. You be slanging it? Like, what the fuck? No, Matt Dillahunty is Arden Hart's boyfriend. True. True. Good grief. Yes, I know who Matt Dillahunty is. Thank you. I drove Matt Dillahunty to his apartment, or not his apartment, to his hotel one time. That's a thing that happened. I forgot that, but that's a thing that happened. I was, listen, I lived in the town where he came to an atheist skeptic talk thing, and he needed a ride to his hotel at the end of the night, and I lived there, so I was like, yeah, I know where that hotel is. I'm pretty sure that happened. And I think maybe JT Eberhard came with us so that it would be just a little bit less awkward or something. God, it's been like way, way over 10 years since then. That was a long time ago. Did you fanboy all over him? No. I knew who he was, but I wasn't like a fan. I was also still really new in the community, so I maybe didn't even know the like degree to which I was like having a famous person in my car. Like, I don't know. It was fine. I know a lot of these like atheist people, like these famous atheist people, just because I happened to meet them a long time ago. I found the Want Me Bite song. Me Want Bite. Wait, what is this?
This formation.
Oh, I don't have a fucking headphones in. Ah! I also saw him shopping at Walmart. You saw Matt Dillahunty shopping at Walmart? That's impressive. Technically, whenever you drive Luxander, you're a famous person in a car. I guess that's technically true.
This formation of rock you'll find in Joshua Tree isn't sensual.
It's not sensual.
But years of thirst have got to me. It's got 2 round protrusions bisected down the middle,
Mm-hmm.
made of igneous rock so hard it makes my flesh and bone look brittle. But even so,
It's the
me
same.
want smack,
Me want smack.
me want consensual rock butt slap,
Yes.
me want good game,
True.
me want granite, throw it back.
Yes. 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 That's good. It looks more like a tongue. Yeah, that's fair. Enjoy that. Oh, I should just keep my headphones in my hand because I'm about to use them more. I like that. I don't know that I like that it was the same song with just different words, but, you know, still, it was fun. We've talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene a good bit here because she is constantly talking about trans people. And so, you know, it's just, you got to just return the favor at a certain point. Like, hey, girl, you're talking about trans people. Trans people are thinking about you now. You know, you've got a little spot rent free in my head where I'm just thinking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and wondering why she's not been arrested and removed from office because of her participation in a seditious coup. Anyway, whatever, moving on. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she is now, I think, openly doing a treason. It's not like the coup wasn't openly a treason. But if you now come back and you go like, you know what I think is that there should be states seceding from the United States government. Like, that's unconstitutional. They declared that in the Supreme Court after, well, shit. Oh no. If they like, if they get something about secession to the Supreme Court, because here's the thing, they used to, after the Civil War, the United States Supreme Court declared that seceding was unconstitutional. It's not allowed. You're not allowed to do that. But with the current court, do we think that they would uphold that, or do we think that they would be like, nope, let Texas be Texas? Like, what the fuck? Okay, so regardless, she's at it again with the white vans, saying, we need a national divorce. We need to separate by red states and blue states and shrink the federal government. Everyone I talk to says this. From the sick and disgusting woke culture issues shoved down our throats to the Democrats' traitorous America Last policies, we are done. It's so funny. It's so funny that she would call the Democrats traitorous when she's literally in this tweet. By saying this, she is saying that, like, she's undermining the federal government. Like, she's undermining the existence of the federal government. Like, how can you be like, listen, I think that there should be structural change as much as the next person, but how are you going to be an elected representative of the federal government talking about abolishing the federal government? Like, that's, I mean, that's just not typically what you do. It typically would seem like the kind of thing that you shouldn't do and that maybe you would lose your job for doing, but she's just getting away with it. And it's still on her Twitter. Like, it's still there. And then she went on Hannity and talked to Hannity about it. And we're going to watch that in a second. She's basically wanting to be the leader of a confederacy. That would be hilarious. Pretty sure this is all a giant political stunt, like most of the things she does and says. Yeah, but exactly. But people shouldn't be able to just say these things as a political stunt. Arrest her, for fuck's sake. Like, you know, again, like, I don't think that the federal government should really exist in the form that it does, if we're being completely honest. But, like, if you are the federal government and you want to continue existing the way that it is, why are you letting someone work for you who is, like, trying to undermine the existence of the government? Like, how, like, is that person going to write good policy? She thinks that the government shouldn't exist, so they're going to do everything that they can to try to undermine it. And she's on the fucking Homeland Security Committee. Yeah, she's like still on her committees, even though she was party to this, like, insurrection attempt. Anyway, there are now a there's some clips now from Hannity that I wanted to look into. So Hannity is taking Marjorie Taylor Greene's national divorce BS seriously. Hannity presented briefly before Marjorie Taylor Greene actually came on. And he's saying like, oh yeah, a national divorce could result in a much smaller federal government. States fully controlling the public education. Oh, yikes. States could continue using fossil fuels. So yeah, no regulation for climate change. One day elections with paper ballots. Law enforcement supported and funded. It's like, the country would be so disparate if they did this. It would be so like, you'd have all these like red states in the middle, and then most of the blue states are around the edges, and then you'd have like Colorado as like a blue spot in the middle there too. Like it's like I don't understand how they think that this would work either. Like I don't even think that they mean that it's going to succeed and actually do something. Oh yeah, she has clearance. She looks at classified material on that committee, which means that we are having our country protected by someone who has declared herself to be an enemy of the state. That's true. I mean, that's objectively true. Yeah, I think someone posted about the immigration policies in the Discord maybe, and I just didn't read about it yet today. But I wanted to look at some of these. The referendum was agonizing. Let's look at some of these, clips of Marjorie Taylor Greene doubling and tripling down on the idea of a national divorce on Hannity, on Sean Hannity's show on Fox News. Here we go.
And here's my question. You know, how did you get to this point? I mean, I look at topics. For example, how do you reconcile defund the police and no bail laws with law and order? How do you reconcile secure borders and wide open borders? How do you reconcile energy independence with energy dependence and New Green Dealism? How do you reconcile
New Green Dealism? That's such a weird fucking thing. Good night, Baphomet. I hope that you rest well.
Peace through strength with people that want to gut our defense? You know, I don't see middle ground on a lot of these issues. So what is the other answer if it's not a divorce?
Her face like fell right there, and I felt like that was a little bit indicative of like her moment of registering the question that she was just asked. Like, if there's not a quote national divorce, like basically saying if there's not a peaceable way for us to separate the red states from the blue states, what's really going to happen? Like, yeah, are we going to talk about civil war right now? That seems like it.
Exactly, Sean. That's the problem. And
hold on. Yeah.
Where we are today. And in my life, in my world, all of my friends are regular Americans. Everyone I talk to is sick and tired and fed up of being bullied by the left, abused by the left, and disrespected by the left.
She's like, everybody in my life is tired of the left. It's like, maybe you should try talking to leftists, or like not even leftists, obviously. Like, when they are talking about the left, they're talking about the centrist Democrats who are just as much in support of capitalism as they are. But like, why would you not? I don't know. It's obviously like they're not interested in listening to other people. It's like their whole thing. They're going to protect themselves by staying in their cute little bubbles.
Left. And our ideas, our policies, our ways of life have become so far apart that it's just coming to that point.
Our ways of life have become so far apart. We all live in America. I mean, the biggest difference between our ways of life, Marjorie Taylor Greene, is that you make like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year at least. And like, you have the ability to own a house, and most Americans will not be able to do that. Wow.
And the last thing I ever want to see in America is a civil war. No one wants that. At least everyone I know would never want that. But it's going.
But I was waiting for the but. She's like, nobody wants a civil war. But like, oh man, hold on. Let's take it back a little bit. Hold on.
Everyone I know would never want that, but it's going that direction, and we have to do something about it.
Oh man, but it's going that direction. Like the passive language of like, well, no one wants a civil war, but it's going that direction. It's like they're using the passive language. Yeah, like they're going to be the ones to start the civil war. And they're just going to be like, well, if only you would have stopped grooming kids, then maybe we wouldn't have needed to do the fascism, you know, like concept. Matheson, thank you so much for the $80 dono. Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That has pushed us almost to the goal for today, but like, thank you so much. I was not expecting to get a big dono. I super appreciate that. Yeah, victim blaming from the Republicans? No. Excuse me. Thank you, Divinity. Thank you so much. Yeah, look, if you wanted me to stop hitting you, you shouldn't have cried so much. Listen, you should not have cried so much about it. Oh, God. Let's see what else this very, very normal woman has to say today. Oh, geez.
I actually think this is a much bigger movement than most people in Washington even realize. And you can take a look at the tweets that I made just yesterday. The amount of likes and retweets that those tweets got should tell people a lot. And they're just not aware of it yet because they don't talk to regular people.
Okay, so because they don't talk to regular people. Because they don't talk to regular people. Oh, thank you, Thea, for the $5 donut. Thank you so much, y'all. Listen, this month has been very solid for me, and I appreciate all of your support seriously so much. I'm doing what I can to try to like be smart with my money and budget well, like, and I'm doing a really good job of that, and it's so helpful. Yeah. Oh, Zulikath, you were filling out your dono at the same time. It says, "Rar, let's finish that green bar." Thank you. Seriously, that is so kind of you all. Just for funsies, let's go ahead and update that. You all are great. Thank you so much. Like, I only talk to irregular people myself. True. Like, oh my God. Like, the idea that, like, oh, we just need to talk to regular people. And she was literally just saying that the likes and retweets on her Twitter was the gauge that she was using for how many Americans agree with her as a group of like representing all Americans and whether or not they want to be one whole country or not. What this is she's never heard of Pew Research. She says, Pew, I've never heard of her before. Oh my God. I'm prepping my estrogen shot right now because Marjorie Taylor Greene makes me want to stab someone. True. And Davies, thank you so much with the membership for 2 months. I might end up refunding you that because I think I'm probably going to go ahead and close the memberships. They still take way too much of your money, and it's not the same as doing a live donation. But yeah, I really appreciate you anyway. I did my T-shot while listening to this stream a little while ago. I love it that people do their hormones while they're listening to this stream. It's so great. Oh, that's a really interesting point. I don't really watch Beau of the Fifth Column, though I know of him. His framing of the House Republicans is spot on. They're lost in the sauce of social media. He said, I don't think about what a Republican would do. I think about what a social media influencer would do. That is a good point. That is a truly good point. Okay, there is one more of these videos. All right, let's see what this last video is. Let's see what she has to say here.
And do you expect it'll happen? Last question.
Do you expect it'll happen?
And do you expect it'll happen? Last question.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I think it's something that we should work towards because, it's kind of the vision that our founding...
Oh, sorry. Not the civil... Okay. Whoo. For a second there, I thought that Hannity was asking, like, do we want to move toward a civil... Like what... like, what about a civil war? And I really thought for a second that she was like, I think we should make it happen. Like, oh my God. Oh, okay, let's start over. Let's start over on that so that I can get her answer and not have it be coming through that lens. Whew.
Well, I think it's something that we should work towards because, you know, it's kind of the vision that our founding fathers had for America, and I think it's a great one. It worked in...
Wait, she thinks that the founding fathers had a vision of America that it would be two different countries? What the fuck?
The beginning, we just got it completely out of control, so I hope we can get there.
All right, Marjorie Taylor Greene, thanks for explaining it all to us. We appreciate it, as always. When we come back, Liam Neeson, the actor.
Oh, God, Liam. Oh, man. So, yeah, she was saying that, like, we should do everything we can to move toward secession, which is, like, yeah, she's just saying on national television, like, I plan on doing something against the Constitution. Yeah, what's with the music? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, God bless Marjorie Taylor Greene for being insane on Maine and making it normal for all of us to be unhinged. Does she actually hear the words that are leaving her cake hole? I truly don't know if she does. But that's a really interesting point about what Bo of the Fifth Column said. It, like, you know, we're looking instead at, like, what would someone who is trying to drum up social media attention, like, what would that person say, as opposed to, like, what would a Republican politician say? It's like, it does seem like their job is more to be a socio-political influencer than it is for it to be a representative of the people in the government. Like, does it seem like she spends most of her time working on the actual thing that is her job? Or does it seem like the majority of what Marjorie Taylor Greene or any of these other folks are doing, like, is what they are doing for the purpose of representing the district that they were elected to represent? Or is the purpose to sow dissent and outrage on the internet in order to increase the divide? Because truly, like, Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, none of the things that she is doing are going to reduce the divide. You know, when Hannity is asking her, oh, you know, how can we balance these different things? You know, we want to achieve peace through strength, whereas they want to gut our military. Like, how can we find a middle ground? Like, refusing to participate in bipartisan conversations is certainly one way to ensure, like, accusing Democrats of, like, trying to destroy our nation and, like, they've turned us into a laughable nation because of their, like, transing the kids and normalizing cross-dressing and all this shit. Like, she was actually talking about the difference between Walmarts in blue versus red states. She doesn't seem to realize that many companies will be gone. America will be no more, and some of those red states will probably be nuked. Like, a lot of these companies are incorporated in the United States of America. What do you do with all that bureaucratic nonsense? But there are so many issues anyway with the idea of a, quote, national divorce. You know, Texas is a pretty clear example of when you try to disconnect from the rest of the country, it doesn't go well for you. You try to disconnect your power grid from the rest of the country, and then you have a self-sustained power grid only within your state. Like, guess what? It goes down often because the entire reason that the power system in Texas is disconnected from the rest of the United States is because if it were connected, then they would have to be regulated to the federal safety standards. But instead, the power goes out every winter, and people freeze to death. It goes out for weeks in some places. The infrastructure there is just not good. Like, how do these people think that interstate commerce is going to happen?
And here's
Does
my
she
question.
just think that, like,
You know,
oh,
how did you
like,
get
look
to
at fucking
this-
Brexit.
this
Just take a quick
I
gander
mean, I look
over
at
at the
topics, for
Brexit situation.
example, how do
Things
you
are way more
reconcile
expensive
defund
there.
the police and
Imports and
no bail
exports
laws
are
with law
totally
and order?
fucked.
How do you reconcile
What,
secure
like,
borders and wide open
It's
borders?
going to totally
How do you
screw the
reconcile
economy to try to
energy
do this, but
independence
also
with energy
it's
dependence
not
and
legal.
Green Dealism?
So
How do you
what
reconcile
are they going to
peace
do?
through
Are they
strength,
going to actually try to do this thing?
with people that
I think
wanna
what they're
gut our
probably going to do
defense? You know,
is that
I
some
don't see middle
state
ground
is
on
going
a
to
lot of these
file
issues.
some kind
So
of paperwork
what is the other answer if it's not a
and
divorce?
saying, like, we plan to secede. And then
Well,
the United
exactly,
States
Sean. That's
government
the
is going
problem
to
and where
sue
we are
that
today.
state to
And
like saying you're
in
doing
my
something
life, in my world,
unconstitutional.
all of my friends
Wait,
are
the video's
regular
playing. Wait,
Americans.
what video's
Everyone
playing?
I
Sorry. Sorry. Like what's probably going to happen is that a state is going to submit paperwork saying we would like to secede from the United States officially. It's going to be like Texas, and then they're going to be sued by the United States government, and that's eventually going to be seen by the Supreme Court. And this Supreme Court might rule that it's constitutional for a place to secede. You're talking like she takes any of this stuff seriously. If she did do it, none of these problems would matter to her life, so she just doesn't care. I mean, exactly. Like fundamentally, that's the question about the social media influencer versus politician thing is like, you know, if she were a politician, we would expect that she would be saying things because she intends to do them. And because she is a politician with power, I guess I expect her to do things that she says she might do. Although it may just be that she is entirely blustering. So many red states will have refugees leave because they receive like 80% of the nation's welfare funds. That's interesting. I didn't actually know that. Really, red states receive more like government handouts than blue states? That's really funny. I bet that blue states, it's because they have more programs for like getting people educated and getting people work training and things like that. You leave people behind and make it so that they are unable to go to college and things like that, and then they're just going to end up using the structural support systems in place to keep them going, which is why we have them. It's taxes versus welfare. There's some kind of ratio. Oh, okay. So that was a mistake. She's just doing it for clout and attention. Maybe we should just start taking that position when we're looking at this issue. Like when we're looking at this woman, maybe we should just look at it as she is doing this to try to be a social media influencer. Like, you know, let's look at this more in terms of what influence is she trying to successfully have? I mean, it seems to me like she herself might not decide that we need to actually secede legally, but she is going to stoke the flames of people who have guns and think that we should secede and want to violently overthrow the government that they see as like dominating their life and controlling their children and taxing them, and they took our jobs and immigrants and like all these boogeyman issues. A modern-day secession would go down like Brexit. They would posture and posture about it until they accidentally do it and then create a fuck ton of unnecessary problems that hurt a shitload of people for no goddamn reason. Let's not forget that the ultimate problem, like the actual ultimate problem with the idea of separating the blue states from the red states is that there are a bunch of queer and trans people and black people and migrants who live in these states and who will not make it if they are left there. They will not make it. We are already seeing this with the trans refugee crisis in the United States, where these states are cracking down on children's health care, and it's becoming like people are having to uproot their entire lives and move out. And you don't always have that option. And it's especially it's even more difficult if it's two separate countries. Like suddenly it's not just that you have the freedom of movement to travel within the United States. Oh, I live in Arkansas and it fucking sucks here, so I'm going to move to Kansas where it's at least a little bit better and it's like still cheap to live there. Or like I live in Alabama and I'm going to kill myself if I don't move to New York where I have the possibilities to be an actor. Like I don't know, like it's like easier to do that within the same country, but then suddenly it's like, okay, I live in the Republic of Georgia, and they're cracking down on trans people, and my name is on a government fucking watch list, and I now need to get a passport and move my whole life into another country up north there in yonder Minnesota. Working on fleeing my state. Yeah. My trans partner has mentioned about a trans refugee crisis and hasn't been able to explain what the hell they mean, what exactly is being referenced. So in places like Texas and Florida, they are going outside the legislative process. Like normally the way that it works is you elect a representative and that representative writes laws, and they write laws in the House of Representatives, and the senators, they send the laws back and forth, and then the governor approves, right? But in Texas and Florida, they have just, well, in Texas in particular, let's just look at Texas, the attorney general, who is like friends with the Republican governor, decided to just go in and say, okay, the law which says that child abuse is illegal, well, we've decided that gender transition related care is child abuse. Like they're declaring that there's no evidence that it's helpful, and they're declaring that there's a lot of evidence that it's harmful. So they've just said it's child abuse if you are getting, this kind of healthcare for your kids. So then if you are a family with a transgender kid in Texas and you don't want your kid to get taken away from you, and you want to continue to provide your care with your kid with medical care, you have no choice but to leave the state. You have no choice but to move somewhere healthy, like healthier and safer, or risk losing your kid. Like you'll have to do illegal things in order to access the medicine. And even if you administer the medicine, even if you cross state lines and administer the medicine in a state where it's legal, if you're bringing your kid back into the state, like you are known to be doing something abusive to the kid. And so you have no choice but to move out of the state. That's what the refugee crisis is in the United States. It's a bunch of people who are fleeing their state. And it's not just the kid situation, you know. If you live in a state like Florida where they've just declared that hormones are no longer going to be covered under Medicare, Medicaid, they're just saying, oh, we're no longer going to provide insurance coverage for this. You might have to leave the state in order to access surgery, for example. You know, like you've been planning on getting surgery and you're on Medicaid, and now you can't get it. So now you have to move to another state in order to be able to afford the surgery that you need. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about people being forced out of their homes, forced out of multi-generational homes sometimes, forced to move away from their cousins. Like your kid, like moving for a kid is traumatic anyway. Like imagine losing all of your friends. You've come out as trans and you're accepted by all your friends in your school, and you have no choice but to leave your friends and family behind, the home that you grew up in. And that's where we're at right now. The thing in Texas, I don't think it's actually held up in court for right now. I think that it got held up in court for some specific families, like certain investigations were put on pause, but I don't think that the entire practice of investigating these people has been put on pause yet. This sounds very much akin to the trans genocide that they've been mentioning as well. The most I can understand from that, though, is a reduction in accessibility and visibility. I feel like I'm missing something bigger here. If you look at the United Nations definition of genocide, the United States is meeting almost all of them. Like, it's the attempt to either reduce numbers of a group or to create conditions of life that are unlivable to them. So if you take away healthcare that prevents people from killing themselves, and you know that you're going to be increasing the likelihood that those people will kill themselves, you are imposing conditions that are unlivable on them. And like they've been very clear that their intent is like, if you don't let kids start on puberty blockers, then they'll probably just normalize. That is you doing a policy position with the intent of there being fewer trans people. So if you're making policy decisions with the intent of reducing the numbers of people who identify with a group, then that is genocide. Think about like a religious group, you know, like technically you could say like, I don't believe in this religion anymore and not be that religion anymore. But like to try, like a government trying to, you know, restrict your access to public life because you're a certain religion or something, like they're putting pressure on you to reduce the number of people. It would be a security nightmare to try to divide the nation. Yeah, can you imagine having to put checkpoints at every single highway and road that crosses state lines? Yeah, no worries, Divinity. I appreciate you asking the questions. I'm summarizing, like I'm taking a lot of information and just kind of trying to squeeze it down. I've made other content about this, so you're welcome to look into those things. But like very broadly speaking, the United States government, and to be clear, they're doing this to more than just trans people. If you also look at the policy positions that make it so that, you know, Black people have a really difficult time graduating high school. And then once they graduate high school, or even if they do, like, it's really hard for them to find stable jobs. And so they end up having to steal in order to eat, or they end up having to sell drugs in order to eat. And then the police go into those neighborhoods and police them more, and they check and they go, what are you doing? And then they take those people out of the population and arrest them, or they shoot them. And like they do this a lot to them, and it is a deliberate attempt to reduce the number of like successful Black people. And people will sometimes say like, oh, it doesn't make any sense for them to genocide Black people because they need them to be workers and slaves. Like you can't call chattel slavery a genocide. Because they weren't trying to eliminate the group entirely. Like, well, they were trying to eliminate the group in part, which is part of the definition of genocide. And also, obviously, they need there to be like below a certain number of Black people and slaves so that they can continue to control them. So they're engaging in like very controlled genocidal population control in order to maintain a certain like number of slaves. And in a country where we make prisoners do work for fucking pennies on the dot, like pennies per hour, then yeah, like the carceral system is slavery in the same traditional sense that it's Black people being put to work. Native American people, obvious, very, very obvious genocide. The situation against migrants, also another genocide. So like the United States government is kind of engaged in this on multiple fronts. So I just want to be clear, Divinity, that like it's not just us, although it is definitely happening to us. Trying to defend the morality of slavery is cringe. I mean, yeah, for sure. What was done to Black people in America was absolutely a cultural genocide, if not a genocide proper. I mean, yeah, at the very minimum, a cultural genocide where they were not permitted to maintain any of their customs from their peoples. Although I have to ask, shouldn't we be way more concerned on one group at a time rather than taking a big tent approach? I mean, my question to you on that would be like, what do you think we've managed to... Okay, so Martin Luther King, you know, he would be alive today if he hadn't been assassinated, but it was a while ago. It was like the 60s, you know, when he was out there saying like I have a dream about like Black people having equal access and not being killed by the police. And we've been like very politely asking the federal government to fucking do something about it. And you know, what are they doing? They're increasing police budgets every year, more money, every year, more cops, every year, more paramilitary fucking shit in our communities. So like, it kind of seems like the problem is not the way that the government is treating all these individual groups. It kind of seems like the problem is the government Like, it kind of seems like even if the government were to be nicer to one group, it's still going to continue to hurt other groups. And yeah, how do you prioritize which group comes first? How do you prioritize which group is the most important to stop the death cycle on first? They recycle the same fear-mongering for every minority group. Bathroom sharing. They would scare-monger about sharing bathrooms and facilities with black people, and then they switched that rhetoric to gay people and like, oh, what if there's a lesbian in the fucking bathroom with your daughter? And now it's trans people. The same thing. Yeah, and you also can't focus on any one particular issue because all of these systems of oppression are linked. Trans misogyny, which is hatred towards trans women, overlaps with misogynoir, which is the particular word for misogyny against black women, because both of those are rooted in white supremacy and cis heteronormative ideas of gender. Yeah. All of this is linked, and you cannot fight one thing without fighting all of them. Even class, people are like, oh, we need to focus on class, and we need to not stop talking. We need to stop talking about all these other like social issues. But like, class is inherently linked to all these other things. Trans people are overwhelmingly lower class, working class, homeless people. Black people, most of the time, are lower class, working class people. Not like homeless to the same degree of percentage like as trans people, but like still higher than white people, right? Yes, class is intrinsically linked to queerness, race, and disability. And you're right, like the things that black women get targeted for, it's like because they're not feminine enough, like because they are perceived as being like strong and like brutish. So even anti-black racism against black women, black cis women, is partially predicated on a patriarchal idea of what femininity is, and that's based on what white femininity looks like. If we did focus on class, it would help marginalized people disproportionately because they are disproportionately lower class. I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair. That's fair. But it's also like you can't focus on just class without addressing all those other things, because those other things are why they're in the lower class. It's not like you're in the lower class and then you become trans. You are trans and then you become lower class because you can't get a job. Absolutely, yeah. Because our conception of the feminine is white and thin, both fat women and black women are treated as unfeminine. And all these things are deeply tied to capitalism. As Decoy Duck points out, Jennifer Morgan wrote some great work on the topic of black women and their role in the understanding of slavery. Black women's bodies being the vector for slavery's reproduction and continuation. Yeah. I can't get work because employers look at my cane and find a way to describe not hiring me, which like is clearly about being disabled, but so microaggressive that I'd struggled to get them punished for it. Yeah, that's like a whole fucking situation. All these places where you technically have the right to have a job. Like, yeah, let's say you live in a super, super liberal place like California where they have explicit gender identity protections, but you come out as trans at your job and suddenly they're starting to ping you on all these performance things that have never been an issue before. But now it's a problem and you only get so many notices before they fire you. And they say they start generating a paper trail on purpose. Like things that you might have gotten a verbal warning about before, suddenly you're getting a write-up for. I've had similar experience with autism discrimination. I think autism discrimination is the fucking worst. Like, it is the most impossible to prove, because you can basically like we just think you wouldn't fit here culturally thing. Like it's just, you're just not really fitting with our company culture. That's autism right there. You can basically be legally fired for being autistic if you can be legally fired for not fitting in the company culture, essentially. Is the stream skipping out a lot? It looks to me like it's skipping a lot right now. For real, I'm autistic and it really feels impossible to even get a job, let alone keep it. It's like as soon as you get to the in-person interview stage, I am written off. It's so tough. People have literally said my anxiety was, quote, too high to work, which is literally illegal in Canada to fire based on. Even the union supposed to be on my side said that was okay of them to say. They were like, we're firing you because of your disability. And that's legal. They literally said, we can fire you because of your disability. Fired without cause is usually the loophole employers up here use when it is discriminatory. See, I will say one good thing about, I don't know if this is a Britain thing or if it's a Europe thing, but like one of the things that Twitter got in trouble for was firing employees without cause, like without an adequate explanation and without a proper severance. But like, imagine if it were required that you had a good justifiable reason to fire someone and that you couldn't just be like, well, because I decided that I don't want you to work here anymore. Yeah, is it buffering? Anthony says it's buffering. This might just be what it's like to live in an apartment. This would be one good reason to have a house, is so that I can have dedicated internet and not be sharing my fucking internet with however many people live in this retirement community with me. Ugh. There's like literally nothing I can do about it. It just kind of comes and goes as it pleases. But I'm winding down anyway, so it won't be, maybe we'll use that as an excuse to bail on here. The audio isn't skipping, though. That's super weird. Is it my fucking graphics card? I think that's the first thing that needs to go. The stream didn't end. No, we're still going. Yeah, I guess maybe, you know, maybe that'll be my goal for March when we go try to do birthday month this month. I'm gonna be annoying, by the way. I just want you to be completely honest. I'm gonna be like, I just want you to know, I'm gonna be completely honest, and I just want you to know that I am gonna be kind of annoying about my birthday this month. Coming in March, I'm gonna be like, hey, guess what? It's my birthday month, and if you want me to be happy, please buy me something or send me a dono. Like, I'm gonna be really annoying. You're gonna fin dom the chat. Only consensually. I've also seen like another kind of ableism to autistics, the presumption of violence and an inability to understand violence. Like someone who happens to be autistic says violent and cruel, bigoted stuff, and the assumption by this person is, well, that's just what autism does. You need to be more accommodating. I have never heard that before. That seems crazy. Oh, did the stream end? It's not showing that it ended on my end. Did the stream crash? What the fuck? It's so it still shows on... Still up for me, but no video. It still shows on Streamlabs like it's streaming. Are we offline now? Okay, you're still there. It's like actually on YouTube, it crashed. Okay, so if you refresh it, it's fine. Yeah, that's super weird. I didn't realize that this was going to be like this tonight. I really thought that it crashed on the YouTube end. Yeah, the internet is just being all fucky. Ripperoonie. When I streamed Streamlabs, I used to do this all the time. Maybe I just need to update my drivers. It's being super weird tonight. I apologize, everybody. But you know what? Since it's being such a fucking dickweed, we'll just go ahead and call it for tonight. Because we've been going for almost 4 hours. Yeah, I was just saying Morningstar System that I haven't seen that particular kind of ableism before. Yeah, no, stream health is not doing good tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and eat my spaghetti. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Oh, the numbers are climbing again. It's fine. Yeah, thank you for your patience, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We have some more stuff that we did not talk about today that we'll get to on Sunday. So, yes, be good. Take care of yourselves. Drink water. You know, get out into the nature if you can. And I'll see you on Sunday. Okay, bye. Bye.